Good evening and welcome to the BSR MX5 Pro Series. My name is Chaz Draycott alongside Tom Jacobs in the booth once again with Alex Simpson on the cameras tonight. Tom, it's the first time we've been together again for the last few weeks. It should be a good evening this at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? Good evening, everybody. Hope you've all had a good day and are ready for some solid virtual racing action. Yeah, Chaz, you've been swanning around with the likes of Super GT and Jimmy Broadbent for a bit, but now he's back. He's back, everyone. So, we're all friends again and all back in the comms booth. But yeah, I think it should be an interesting evening. Bit of a strange track, this one. I've never really got on with it personally that much, but and some tricky corners as well, especially up the top of the hill. But yeah, it should be interesting to see how the guys get on.
Yeah, it's a very tricky circuit to get right, this one. There's so many different elevation changes, as you can see there. It looks very simple on a map when you see this track, but when you actually drive it, I mean, Alex, you'll probably agree as well, it's a really challenging one to get a lap together on.
Tough old track. That first sector, very challenging, high speed. You really got to have full commitment through there, and then you go into that blind right-hander where car's not set up well. You can't really attack that curb. Very, very tricky and easy to get wrong. The S is always a bit of a challenge. If you just get offline a little bit there, you can find yourself cutting some grass pretty quickly or into the wall on the exit of the S's. That massive curb there is just like, deadly. And then, of course, down that back straight, there's enough straight there that these MX5s are going to be creating massive slipstream as well. So expect some more mighty battles going into that chicane. It's going to be exciting, but it's going to be busy for the guys out there.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, looking at the grid currently, we've got 40 cars out on track, Tom. So pretty capacity grid. We've had a really good a good turnout of drivers this season. We've had quite a good spread of talent across it as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we've had some brilliant battles out there. The named people that we normally get out there, Excite, SimLab, and Swift Cooper Esports, the ones that I'm really looking out for. And then, of course, in the AM races, we've got Team What Will Make Not Kill and Result Clothing battling that one out. But a couple of newcomers that we've had come in, Alex Perkis and Gregory Vranks, who last time round Gregory did really well. So be interested to see what he can do. He's currently sitting in P7 in qualifying, so really pushing his way up the leaderboard. And it's, as I said, it will be good to see what he can do this evening.
Yeah, and he's. I mean, I'm not sure if it's classed that way, but he's on my screen as a AM in the AM category, not the Pro category. But for anyone that's seen Gregory Vranks drive before, they probably won't agree with that classification because he is an incredibly quick GT driver. I've mostly seen him in the Sim Racers World GT series, but yeah, it's good to see newer drivers getting in on this series. We've obviously got our regulars, the Excite iRacing team, SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports up there. And so far this season, Tom, Swift Cooper Esports have really been the guys to watch. I mean, they've always been up there or thereabouts, but they've really made a mark on this series this time around.
Yeah, they have indeed. I think it's the rest of the teams at the moment. They're a bit like Mercedes in F1. Everyone's trying to catch up to them and get onto their level. But yeah, last time out, SimLab did very well. Excite didn't have the greatest of evenings, but I'm sure they'll be looking to come back in this one and try and not get too many mistakes. They'll probably group together as they normally do. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting evening between all three of them, and we know how great their racing can be.
And of course, with the famous word that Alex nearly mentioned before, slipstream, down the back straight, it is a fair old straight here. So it'll be interesting to see the teamwork and people trying to just keep the momentum. I mean, we've seen in a couple of races this season where if there's a couple of guys at the front, like the Swift Cooper Esports boys, they'll let the car behind them go past and just make sure that they don't lose out by doing so, going into that chicane. So we may have a lot of changes for the lead here if we get our usual sort of breakaway that we get from these races, won't we?
Yeah, we should do, and we saw it last week as well. I think it was Marcelo Panion just waited and waited with Brian Holmes, and then eventually took the lead. And I think Brian waited a bit too long to try and take the lead back from him. So yeah, as you say, with that elusive slipstream down the back straight, especially here going up the hill, and I think after you've got over the crest, it's going to come a lot stronger, and the speed builds up. You said she should see quite a lot of changes for the lead there. So yeah, the guys are really going to have their wits about them at this one, and I think it's going to make for some quite crazy action out there this evening.
And I tell you what, there must be a lot of penalties to be served tonight, because out of the 40 cars that we have on the grid, only 26 of them have set a lap in qualifying. There's quite a couple in the further down the order there that haven't really done it. But for the first time this evening, Tom, in just a moment, we should have a grid.
Yeah, just waiting for it to come up. Just looking at the AM Championship standings there. Roy Verke currently leads it then, behind him Jeroen Ursa, and then Scott Malcolm in third. And then Benjamin Mears and Mikey Keys. As you can see, it really is a team auto mech not kill, all fighting it out, with Jeroen Ursa thrown in there as well for Excite Racing. There we go, and then for Pro as well, Marcelo Panion leads at the moment on exactly the same points as his rival Jason Cooper, so that's going to be a good one to watch this evening. Kip Stevens in third, Nick McCarron in fourth, Jamie Ayres rounding out the top five. SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports really pulling the way ahead at the moment, and then the nearest Excite driver at the moment is Ashley Beard in P10 on 1,221 points. So those guys are really going to have to get on with it tonight to try and make up the gap. Any second, and we should have
I'm not 100% sure about those points, if I'm honest. I'm going to double check them. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know why it seems to be pulling through some strange data. I might be wrong. Might be right. But
I hope it is that close.
That would be a lot of points for them to be out already. So let's just take a quick look. Might be.
Maybe we were right all along.
No, I think it is right. So Yeah, definitely people at that sort of point level. Yeah, I just thought it was too many. I could have sworn I was looking at the points earlier on and they were sort of all around 900 mark. But no, there's definitely drivers up around there. So that is indeed correct. And we do indeed have a grid.
Happy days then. So Pete Van Gool is currently sat in pole position. Behind him, Brian Holmes for Excite Racing, Dave Hampson in third for SimLab, Jamie Ayres for SimLab in fourth, and Adam McNally rounds out the top five for Excite. Charlie Summers behind him for Swift Cooper Esports, Nick McCarron in seventh with Luke Cooper in eighth, Alex Cherney in ninth with Ashley Beard in 10th. Gregory Vranks is your top AM driver at the moment, I'm sure that will change shortly. And behind him, Kip Stevens in P12. Then 13th, we've got Lorne Murray, Ralph Cullinan in 14th, 15th, Benjamin Mears, Mikey Keat in 16th, Rob Graham in 17th, 18th for Carl Hardy, 19th for Andy Maxwell, 20th for Martin Plowman, 21st for Carl Jackalette, Craig Jones in 22nd, Max Wright in 23rd, Scott Malcolm in 24th, 25th for Jeroen Ursum, our resident spinny wheel man, Michael Barry in 26th, Alex Perkis in 27th with Jason Cooper in 28th. 29th then Nils Carstensen, James McRitchie in 30th, Stuart Dick in 31st, Abdulkir Al Amri in 32nd, 33rd Jack Ashton, Cesare Rizzo in 34th, Anna Delmont in 35th, Joe McDonald in 36th, Billy Rose 37th, David Ayres 38th, 39th Stephen Cooley, and then rounded it out all the way at the back in 40th is Anthony Ainsworth.
Thanks very much for that, Tom. Fantastically well sorted grid as the revs are now rising. And it's good to see all the SimLab boys quite high up there again as well, isn't it, Tom, really? Because they had a bit of a tough start to the season, but Pete Van Gool, he's had quite a lot of high qualifying results, but he's usually gets taken out at the beginning of a race, so hopefully it doesn't go that way for him tonight.
No, I do hope not. It's a great qualifying for him, ahead of Brian Holmes and Dave Hampson, Jamie Ayres as well. So he's going to have his work cut out for him then, so the revs rise. The lights begin to come on. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and they drop the clutch, and away they go. Good start from Pete Van Gool. He's got Brian Holmes directly behind him, though, and I think he might have to fend as they come towards the top of the hill. Good start from Jamie Ayres as well, looking on my screen. As they all come down towards turn 1 and up the hill, then Pete Van Gool still leads. Brian Holmes following through. Starting to break away already. Brian Holmes looks like he's going to try and have a go around the outside, going over the top of the hill. Can he get it through? Yes, he does. So Brian Holmes seems to take the lead then. Van Gool fights back, though. He's got the inside line coming back down the hill now. And we look at the Triple Eight of Dave Hampson. He's not letting them get away at all. This is a difficult corner to get right. You don't want to push it out too wide. It can really upset the car. But Brian Holmes does take the lead then. He's done a Charles Leclerc and made it back up. And now he's leading. So everyone seems to be through cleanly as well, Chaz.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty clean start, to be fair. I was expecting a bit of contact in the first sector, but Jack Ashton seems to be the only one that's actually lost out at the moment. Martin Plowman didn't take the start, and importantly, Jason Cooper, who was the Winter Series champion, he's going to be running the number 1 car for the rest of the season. He hasn't even taken the grid either, so real shame for those guys. There's a lot of Automech Knock Hill cars in the middle, but on the left-hand side, if you're not already aware, the blue cars, well, the ones that are highlighted blue anywhere next to their names, mean that they're in the Pro category, and the green ones are in the AM category. Now, Gregory Vranks in 14th place will probably be considered as a pro. You can see at the top of the screen there. Alex is already on it tonight, so we know just how much of a treat we're in for. Us down the inside, Brian Holmes hurls it down the inside of Pete Van Gool. Pete sticks it around the outside. Dave Hampson's trying to defend. Oh, there's a double tap there. One of each car goes around. That was Brian Holmes and Dave Hampson. They're both around. There was literally mirrored contact there, Tom. It was one SimLab car turned an Excite car, and one Excite car turned a SimLab car. It was mad.
Yeah, it was just 1 for 1, wasn't it? I think you've spun him, so I'm going to get you back. I don't know whether that was the case, but unfortunate for those guys because you're having a great battle out in front. But Jamie Ayres inherits the lead then from that little incident. I think it was just everyone coming a bit too close together. And Chaz, you'll be able to tell us as well. It can be very difficult to get over that hill and get the line right because it's completely blind, and then when you come over the top, the course is already turning round to the right. So if you're too far over to the left as you go over it, you can end up on the grass, can't you?
Yeah, and it's easy to understeer in this car as well. And I think really that came from there being, obviously the front two were side by side, and then in third place he was just trying to go over to the right hand side as well to try and make a move on both of them, maybe not knowing that the other SimLab car was there. And well, as you'd say, Tom, that's all she wrote, and around he went. But real shame for it to happen that way. But Jamie Ayres, he'll be a happy bunny at the front of the field now. But the issue that he's got here is there's so many guys, as you can see them filtering through. It's a massive train of cars that are going to get the slipstream. And Charlie Summers is here in second place now, but he's under attack from Adam McNally. So we've got three of the sort of flagship drivers, three wide there. It's almost like formation flying down the hill. McNally's on the inside, Summers on the outside, sorry, on the middle, and he really late on the brakes there. Summers, I was lost for words, he chucked it in that hard. Jamie Ayres inherits second. Adam McNally got a lot of the curb there though, Tom, so he might get a slowdown, but he's got to worry about Nick McHerron now. Jamie Ayres, his teammate, who's going to start putting the pressure on.
Yeah, he definitely has. Jamie Ayres, though, what he's got to do is just try and defend as much as he can from Adam McNally. But Charlie Summers take a bow. I didn't realise you could brake that late in an MX5 and get away with it, but he seems to have done. And now all he's got to do is just try and pull the gap out. He does the fastest lap of the race so far of a 1:35.8, and that just goes to show how hard he was really pushing to get behind them. Even though the slipstream will have helped him a bunch, but it was still an absolutely cracking lap from him there. So Summers leads from Jamie Ayres, Adam McNally in third, Nick McHerron in the number 2 SimLab car in P4, and Luke Cooper rounds out your top 5. But I've got to say it, Chaz, don't count out Alex Cherney. I saw last week he can be a mighty quick guy when he needs to be, and I think he'll be looking to try and help his teammates of Luke Cooper and Charlie Summers, won't he?
Yeah, definitely. It's a team game in this series. There's so many of the stronger guys at the front of the field are involved in these big teams. And of course, we've seen the likes of Dave Hampson replacing Jack McIntyre in the SimLab team, and he's doing a fine job so far, other than the fact he's not at the front of the field because he spun out of this race. But qualifying-wise and pace-wise, though, he's shown that he's really got the pace to compete. But it's looking like those Swift Cooper Esports boys are really starting to filter their way back up to the top. McNally's got to keep his wits about him for Luke Cooper, who actually started 8th on the grid, so he's made a fair jump up, and so's Charlie Summers, actually 5 places gained. On that subject, looking down the field, David Ayres and Adam Delmont are currently tied for the most places gained, 14 each. So really good drive by those guys so far. And of course, your highest placed AM is Benjamin Mears in 9th place. He's doing a great job as always, Tom. He's always one of the ones that's sort of competing for the AM Championship, isn't he, Ben? He does a good job.
Yeah, he's a brilliant driver, and he's shown it so much in AM at the moment. I really think Automech Knock Hill have completely upped their game, as Summers really coming under pressure from Jamie Ayres. We'll go back to the AM guys in a second. Jamie Ayres up the inside of the top of the hill. That's not an easy one to pull off. Jamie Ayres absolutely sideways as he comes over the top. The car must have gone very light, and he inherits the lead as they come down towards the hill then. As I said before, this is a really tricky corner to get right. You want to push the car out wide, but not too much, so it bounces like Jamie Ayres has done, and I think he might have just got away with it, but he lost a ton of speed. Coming back down the hill then, he's still side by side with Charlie Summers. This is going to be a late braking move. He still keeps out the inside. Summers is fighting back though, and behind him as well you've got Adam McNally, who's just watching it all happen, Chaz. And I really think this is either going to go one way, it's either going to go really well, or it's all going to end in tears.
Yeah, we're either going to see a fantastic banzai manoeuvre here by somebody, or there's going to be a couple of MX5s lodged in a wall, and someone looking for a spare parts yard round the Road Atlanta way. So they're 3 wide now. That's McNally in the middle. He's taken the lead, albeit temporarily, because there's so many Swift Cooper Esports boys in here now that they've got to really be careful. They've got to think about it, but they've got the numbers advantage here. Summers is on the inside. Just getting out of that is Cherney. He's still side by side with his teammate Nick McHerron, is now side by side with Luke Cooper just behind. Jamie Ayres stays in 2nd place. Cherney and Summers still side by side as they go into the final corner. That's risky, boys. You don't want to be doing that. They're just going to slow each other down. They have to both take compromised lines. Summers having to go around the outside, and Cherney having to take a slower line down the inside of the corner, and that's bunching them up even further here, Tom. We've got a great scrap all the way down throughout this top 10, really. Benjamin Mears down to 10th overall. Pete Van Gool, of course, was our pole sitter, and he's down in 9th place, but well, he's up to 8th now, and he's actually doing a bit of a decent recovery drive. But look at that, even just the position switch we've had there. McHerron's down in 9th now. Just shows you how a couple of corners can really change the game.
Yeah, it does. Completely it does. And it just goes to show how close these guys are as well. And even though their setups will be completely different, it's a bit like the Mercedes and the Ferrari last season. Even though it's a completely different car with a completely different setup, they were so close. And as I say, it just goes to show how much work they put into the setups of these cars, because I can guarantee you none of their setup pages will look anything like each other's. But it seems to pay off for them, doesn't it? But Adam McNally leads then. He's got to try and find a gap between Jamie Ayres as they go up the hill on lap number 5. Got Charlie Summers in there as well, Cherney in 4th and Luke Cooper in 5th. Luke's going to be looking to try and make as big of an impact he can for the team. They don't want Excite running away with it. But Swift Cooper Esports are currently 3rd, 4th, and as I said that, one of them's just been demoted down to 6th. So Ashley Beard is up into 5th at the moment as they come back down towards the hill then. And we are currently looking at Max Wright, who's coming under a little bit of pressure. Battling away with, I think that's Gregory Vranks in front. So it's all going on out there at the moment, Chaz, and I don't know which way to look, and I don't think Alex does either.
Yeah, the cameras are looking every single car we can find on track. Scott Malcolm here ahead of Nils Carstensen, and I still maintain that's one of the best racing driver names we've ever heard. But you can just see, even down in the AM category, 25th place, these guys are so close together. Oh, and that Summers around, gives it the full Tokyo drift coming out of turn 1. McNally's down the order as well. They must have made contact. Yeah, there's McNally. Well, there's what's left of McNally in the, on the outside. Yeah, Stevens down in 12th. He's dropping places too. Not really sure what happened there, but I'm sure Alex is probably already lining up a replay for us. You know what he's like. He's rapid on these cameras as this boy. But Alex Cherney takes the race lead. Jamie Ayres is still fighting though up there. He's 2nd place at the moment. He's survived all these incidents so far, Tom. But now he comes under attack from Ashley Beard. Here we go then. Here is the replay. Oh, big shove for Jamie Ayres by Charlie Summers. And oh, McNally lost it on his own, and so did Summers. So for about half a second there, Charlie Summers had the lead. And oh, Stevens just got caught up in it afterwards. But yeah, it was 2 separate incidents between the 2 guys that were both leading the race at one point there. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously hitting Ayres didn't help, and a bit too wide, maybe got a bit too much on the power. And that's what caused him to go round. But we're on board now then with Ashley Beard in the number 28 Excite Racing car. He's looking up the inside, coming down towards the chicane. Looks an easy corner. It definitely isn't. Tips the car in. Oh, he's still fighting hammer and tong with Jamie Ayres as they come over the crest now. And can you just see on board there how blind it is. But Cherney, I've got to say it, Chaz, is looking very, very strong at the moment. And Ayres and Beard don't want to be fighting too much and let him get away with it.
No, definitely not. You've just got to think about the long game in these races. But I say that though, they're only 15 minutes long. But at the same time, you don't want to be trying to be a turn 1 hero. These guys have got to think about every single lap they've got left, because really tactically, in terms of your position, you have to think about the slipstream on these laps. And Ashley Beard there getting a nice bit of momentum over Jamie Ayres as he hits the gravel on the inside of the corner. And as Alex was saying before, it's a very, very tricky first section. You've got to just give it full commitment. There's a car slow on the exit of the corner here on the outside. Not quite sure who that was, but you can just see Alex Cherney gradually making a bit of space away from these guys just at the front. It's just going to be a bit difficult for him to stick with him through this part. They just need to make sure they've got a small enough gap to close back up when they get onto this straight here, haven't they?
Yeah, they definitely have, and you'll see the slipstream come into play now. If we do stay on board with Ashley Beard, he'll be tucked right up behind, and we've got an overhead camera, even better. He'll be tucked up behind Jamie Ayres now, and then you'll see it's like he's opened DRS, and he should just start gaining on him quite rapidly. He's not doing too much at the moment, and I thought it'd be a little bit stronger than that. Maybe he's backing off just slightly and letting playing a tactical game, just letting Jamie Ayres just catch up to Cherney that little bit more. But you've just got to see there, Chaz, as they come through that chicane, the differing lines that they take through there. And then I've done hours and hours of practice before this race. But it just goes to show, doesn't it? They all take different lines, but at the end of the day, they're all doing completely similar lap times. As Jamie Ayres is up the inside now of Alex Cherney then, going into turn number 1. Cherney's very slow, actually, along the straight. And that's what Ashley Beard into play as well, Chaz.
Yeah, it's I don't know whether he just sort of let off a little bit there, just to, again, play the long game. He knows that Jamie Ayres is quick. He doesn't want to spend too much time trying to defend the position and slow himself down. He knows eventually that Jamie would have got past on the back straight. So maybe he's just playing the game that we've mentioned before, where you wait until the last lap to make sure you're the car behind when you get to the slipstream. Because at the end of the day, there's only 2 corners, well, 2.5, let's say, after the huge back straight here. And if you've already got the move done going into there, they've not really got much else chance to come back at you. So I think he might be playing a bit of mind games here, just to let Jamie Ayres think he's got it and then try and pop out the slipstream. We'll see this time round. Beard takes a massive amount of momentum there. Jamie Ayres on the grass on the outside. That's not going to help his momentum down this back straight. We'll have to see how he gets on there. But looking down the order, there's not really much spread between any of the drivers here. I think the biggest gap is between Martin Plowman and Joe McDonald, and that's 7 seconds. But other than that, everyone's less than 3 seconds apart, really. So Nicely spread, but 3 wide here. Ashley Beard down the inside, Cherney in the middle, Ayres on the outside. Really nicely done by Ashley Beard, and into the lead he goes. That was great commitment on the brakes there, Tom. But it's brought Luke Cooper into this as well now, so it's looking like Cherney's got a little bit of backup here, hoping to distract Jamie Ayres, which means that Cherney could go after Beard.
Yeah, definitely a great move there from Ashley Beard. He was so late on the brakes, knew exactly where the other guys were, positioned the car completely correctly, but he's now coming under pressure from Cherney then. Cherney's gone back up the inside of it and says, I'll take that back, thanks very much, mate. And there he goes through, inherits the lead once again. Ashley Beard currently sitting in P2, and this is making for some absolutely fantastic racing. Reminds me of a certain John Cleland in a Vauxhall Cavalier many moons ago. Saying I'm going for first, and that's just exactly what Cherney did going into turn 1. But Jamie Ayres now has just got to make sure that he can stick with these guys. He's gone wide again actually, coming out of that, and he doesn't want to do that too often, does he, Chaz? Because otherwise he's just going to lose a ton of momentum, and Cherney and Beard will just run away with it.
Yeah, it looks like he's pushing pretty hard at the moment, does Jamie Ayres, but of course he wants to stay away from Luke Cooper as well. Luke's a very, very quick driver. He actually put a post on his Facebook over the weekend. He was back out in a Formula Ford car, get back out on track to do some testing this season, so obviously we extend our best wishes to him that his season goes well. It's good to see these guys as well getting involved in real world motorsport. I think Luke's been doing it quite a while, to be fair, but you do see a lot of guys in the iRacing community getting involved in real world stuff. Ashley Beard now down the inside of Cherney. It's not too much of a difficult move compared to last time. But this is what I mean, if you're the car that's in second place, you've got a bit of an easy ride into those last few corners, so Cherney will be thinking that he's going to let him stay in front for this lap now, as they're going to come on to the final lap. We look at Benjamin Mears giving Peter Van Gool a good run for his money. Back at the front, there is Ashley Beard, and now, this is the point where Ashley here could probably brake a little bit earlier, let Cherney go in front, and then be the car that's behind coming into the slipstream part of the circuit on the back straight, but Jamie Ayres wants to get back involved in this. He's taking no prisoners at the moment. This is going to be a really feisty final lap. Beard leads them into the right-hander then. Takes the middle of the circuit. Jamie Ayres around the outside of Alex Cherney. Take a bounce on. What a move that was. Beautifully committed. And now that means that Swift Cooper Esports are on the back foot here, and Nick McCarron is going to get involved in this fight as well, Tom. So coming onto the back straight is anybody's game.
Yeah, it definitely is, and this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see the 3 Titan teams of this series fighting hammer and tong on the last lap. Jamie Ayres currently sat for SimLab in second. Ashley Beard for Excite is leading it, and you've got Alex Cherney for Swift Cooper Esports in third. Luke Cooper for Swift Cooper Esports as well, and then Nick McCarron for SimLab. So this really is anyone's guess. McCarron could still take it if he manages to get a very good dive and lunge and a very good slipstream. But here we go then, along the back straight they go. Beard still leading, Jamie Ayres tucked right up behind him. And this is going to be interesting to see what happens coming down into turn into the last chicane, sorry. Ayres on the outside, he's looking at Beard now and thinking, where am I going to place this move? He's going to have to go really late on the brakes. Cherney dives in up the inside of Jamie Ayres. Jamie Ayres does defend it, pushes the car out wide, and I think Ashley Beard might just be a little bit too far ahead for Jamie Ayres to come along and take it. They round the final corner then. A brilliant drive from all 5 of them. Ashley Beard takes it ahead of Jamie Ayres. Alex Cherney in third to round off the podium. And Chaz, I've got to say, wow, what a brilliant race that was. Nice and tidy as the guys come across further down the grid as well. And we've got a little battle on here as well. Battle for 17th. Hardy's just going to take it, I think. No, Dick takes it, actually. Stuart Dick in P17 takes that one. But yeah, just nice and tidy from the guys, wasn't it? We didn't have very many incidents, and the ones that were looked nice and realistic out there for race 1.
Yeah, that was really, really good stuff to watch. That fantastic way to start the evening. Really, really good. Well-deserved win by Ashley Beard as well. He did a smashing job there, and just strong defending from them as well. Good teamwork from the Swift Cooper Esports boys as ever. But it's nice to see SimLab getting their drivers up there as well. Of course, 3 of them in the top 6, Jamie Ayres, Nick McCarron and Peter Van Gool. And of course, Benjamin Mears winning the AM category in that one from Rob Graham, his teammate, and Gregory Franks as well. So, yeah, really, really strong performance for everyone. But it's great to see that many AMs up there in the top 10, actually, Tom. What a great result for those guys.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Mears takes the AM win ahead of Rob Graham and Greg Franks as well You got Jacqueline in there. He's been a name that's really been lighting my fire at the moment in this series. Jacquelette's he didn't have the best of seasons last season, but this season he's really upped his game, and he's always been thereabouts, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has, and he puts a lot of time in practicing in the car as well. He puts a lot of a commitment into each race week, so it's good to see that his results have been improving from it, I'd say. I mean, obviously it's difficult for us to keep a close eye on everybody's results all the time, but yeah, he's been very consistent, I think, in his results. He's one of those drivers where he gets caught up in incidents now and then, and it's just, you know, it's never really his fault. It's just wrong place, wrong time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. He's yeah, it's like you say, it's never really been his sort of fault within the incident. It's just always that someone's cut across him and then wham, he ends up in a wall. So here we go then. Your race results. Ashley Beard takes a well-deserved win for Excite Racing ahead of Jamie Ayres in P2, and then Alex Cherney rounds out the podium. Luke Cooper in 4th, and then Nick McCarran rounds out the top 5. Pete Van Gool in 6th, and then behind him, your AM race winner was Benjamin Mears in 7th overall, Rob Graham in 8th, and Gregory Vranks in 9th, who rounds up your AM podium. Carl Jacquelet in 10th, Lord Murray in 11th, James Ritchie in 12th, Max Wright in 13th, with Nick Ashton in 14th, Nils Carstensen, Chaz's favourite name of the series, down in 15th, Craig Jones in 16th, Stuart Dick comes home in 17th, only just about a 100th of a second ahead of Carl Hardy, who finished in 18th. 19th place then Charlie Summers, and then 20th was Scott Malcolm, your own Ursum in 21st, David Ayres in 22nd, Joe McDonald in 23rd, Adam Delmont in 24th, with Martin Plowman in 25th, Anthony Ainsworth in 26th, 27th is Brian Holmes, Stephen Cooley in 28th, Alex Perkis in 29th, Andy Maxwell in 30th, Ralph Cullen in 31st, Kip Stevens after that unfortunate incident getting taken out in 32nd, and your non-finishers were Mikey Key, Adam McNally, Michael Barry, Cesare Rizzo. Should be a few more, I believe. Yep, Billy Rose, Abdulkir Al Amri, Dave Hampson, and Jason Cooper.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Tom. And yeah, like I said, what a great way to start the evening. Really, really strong racing from those guys there. They kept it nice and clean. Amazing to see, though, that was probably the shortest lead that anybody's ever had in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Charlie Summers was in the lead for, what, about 2 car lengths, half a second maybe, and then he spun it himself.
Yeah, definitely, and it just goes to show how much tight racing we do get in this series. It's not like other series. I find with a lot of downforce cars on the service. Sorry, normally one car pulls away at the start, and then that's just sort of it, because it's quite a struggle to overtake with all the turbulent area. But with MX5s, it's a bit like mini moto racing, isn't it? It just changes from one second to the next.
Yeah, it becomes like pack racing. There's never really a sort of runaway winner in these shorter races as well, because everyone's giving it everything they've got just to get each individual position on every single lap, and there's not many of them. So we do see some really feisty stuff, and I think that's the charm of the series, really. We get great racing from them week in, week out, so long may it continue, really. And I believe for the first of 3 times tonight, Alex will have the reverse grid wheel for us.
Indeed I do. My finger is poised and ready to go. Here we go.
Very ominous thing to say.
It's a full -4.
Okay, so that would have been Kip Stevens, unfortunately for him. So if we take 4 away from that, that will put Steve Cooley on pole position, alongside Brian Holmes of Excite Energy. Anthony Ainsworth will be 3rd, Martin Plowman will be 4th, and Adam Delmont will be 5th on the grid. So if you join me, Tom, and Alex in about, say, 10 minutes' time on the iRacing Esports Network, we'll bring you race 2 of the evening. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Esports Network. This is the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Chaz will be back in just a short sec, but until then, you've got me on the lead. Well, I'm sorry. Tom's still with me, though. And, yeah, we're looking forward to race number 2 of the night. 3 more to go, of course. Road Atlanta, first race, pretty much kind of like we expected. It was going to be action-packed. There's going to be lots of overtaking going on. Lots of fierce battles. I didn't know where to click on screen. There was so many battles going on, so apologies if there was some epic fights out there that I missed, guys, but when you watch this back. But yeah, there's just so much going on, and this is what this track is all about. It is made for good racing.
Yeah, it definitely is, isn't it? And I will second that as well. It's definitely one of the more difficult tracks I've ever experienced on the service. Sorry, but then Stephen Cooley takes pole then. Brian Holmes behind him. He's got a very good chance of winning this one. Anthony Ainsworth in P3, Martin Plowman in 4th, Adam Delmont in 5th, Joe McDonald in 6th, David Ayres in 7th, Jeroen Ursum in 8th, with Scott Malcolm in 9th, Charlie Summers 10th, Carl Hardy 11th, with Stuart Dick in 12th, 13th for Craig Jones, Nils Carstensen 14th, 15th Jack Axton, 16th Max Wright, James Ritchie in 17th, 18th Lorne Murray, 19th Carl Jacquelet, and then Gregory Ranks in 20th. Let the rest of them scroll their way through then. As the revs rise, and just quickly, Alex. Oh, there we go. We're going away anyway. 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights. It's going to be drop the clutch. Cooley gets away, but a brilliant start there from Brian Holmes. He's already up alongside Mr. Cooley himself in the 87. Brian Holmes inherits the lead off of the start. Then a fantastic getaway from him. Cooley as well coming under pressure from Plowman, so he's relegated from P3 even after just getting to turn number 1, and Scott Malcolm down in 4th. So I think this is going to be a fierce battle, Alex, for the AM race one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think yeah, Holmes will be a little bit upset with what happened in the last race, but of course now he's got himself into the lead in this one. And the way this series works, for anyone who doesn't know, there are 4 races of a night and the reverse grid race for 2, 3 and 4. So he's got every opportunity to score high in races 2 and 4 instead of like 1 and 3. So you can bounce back if you do have a bit of a shocker in one of the races.
Yeah, you definitely can, and we said this last week, didn't we? About people just going for the races 1 and 3 and then 2 and 4, just trying to get the reverse wheel to get as high up as the grid as they can.
Yeah, Summers with a good run here as well, so I think Stephen's going to struggle to hold on to this 3rd position. I think his priority would be try and tuck up behind Summers here and stay ahead of Scott Malcolm, of course. That's who he's really racing. You can tell who's Pro and Am on the left of the timing tower there, so the green is really who Cooley's more concerned with, but Malcolm's been quick of late, so he'll try and get by as quickly as he possibly can. And does look like he's making moves to try that on already, although he's got Jack Ashton for a bit of company.
He has indeed. Ashton's been looking racy quite recently, as well as Malcolm's up the inside, and he does indeed touch. And we've lost Cooley as well, and Malcolm spinning down the order. Luke Cooper going down as well as Lorne Murray, so there's a lot of them involved in that. And I think it was just a case of Malcolm going up the inside there, Alex.
It was, yeah, making contact. Don't think it's going to get looked at any other way, I'm afraid, for Scott. Took both of them out. An opportunity to win this one, and Jeroen Ursum now takes over the lead in AM. He's tucked up behind, Jack Ashton, although Ashton's pulling away, but Carl Hardy behind him now and Max Wright. So you've got first, second and third in class pretty tight, so that battle's still very much on, which is good to see. As for what's going on at the front, it looks like Plowman just trying to hold on to Holmes here. Holmes just can't quite break beyond that 1 second barrier. That slipstream just too strong down this back straight here at Road Atlanta.
It is, and we said this at the start, how strong it was going to be. Plowman, well, he's not really making inroads because I think Brian Holmes is quite quick on the infield stuff. As you look a bit further back, then Pete Van Gool coming under pressure from Max Wright and Craig Jones for Result Clothing. The handball is really getting
back as well.
Here he is then, the man himself.
Oh, there's a
round.
Oh, it's Max Wright. He's going to go between the two little walls there. That's not the best of moments. So just jumped back in as we saw the Scott Malcolm Steve Cooley incident. I was going to say it was very similar to what we saw last night. Admittedly, one of the CQR cars having an incident, but it was Ben Gregory and Stuart McFadden I think touched yesterday, and then Michael Hall got in it as well. And into that turn one, it's a very difficult corner to judge because it's a tight entrance, but then it widens on exit. So it's, I don't know, you just got to really sort of think about your line, and when you're going side by side now, it's a nightmare to get right. Speaking of going side by side and having a nightmare to get right, look at all this lot down the S's. Fantastic scrap between these boys.
Yeah, absolutely is. Great stuff to watch, as Chaz has said. It's there's a lot of scraps going on out there at the moment, and I think the midfield for this race, as it normally is for race 2, has got it completely. Looking at Rob Graham then for Team Auto Mech Not Kill, he's chasing down Jackalette, who is thereabouts once again. Although Jeroen Ursum currently leading AM, Jackalette sat down in P5 for the AM race. Looking up a bit further then, looks like Van Gool might have caught Hardy there. Although Van Gool is on the outside then, so Hardy might have to go late on the brakes here. Van Gool darts to the left, goes straight up the inside of one of the Excite cars. Oh. And that was an absolutely fantastic move, Chaz.
Well, Van Gool was an absolute belter, but Carl Hardy, he was right behind Jeroen Ursum there, and it was as if he let off the brakes and went back down. I don't know if we can have another look at that, Alex, but it would look like he was braking at exactly the same force and the same time as Ursum, and he just thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to go with Peter on this one. I'm going to dive down the inside as well. That was just fantastic. Here we go then. You can just see Jeroen on the right there. Peter Van Gool's going to come past on the right, cut to the left. Jeroen goes over to the right, gets on the brakes, and he just goes, nah, you know what, I'm going to have that as well. He just chucks it in and through. He goes, brilliant stuff. Really late dive, but it was great to see that the Excite car left him the space there. He really, really did a nice job, and of course no incident, but yeah, fantastic opportunistic stuff from Kyle Hardy, and thank you very much, Alex, for the rapid camera work as always. Just down the back straight now then, Martin Plowman second place with Charlie Summers right up behind him. Is he going to pop out the slipstream and get the move done? You'd think so, going into the chicane at the bottom of the hill. Side by side they go. The Fury Sim Sports car can't do anything about it, and Summers goes through into second place, and now he wants to set his sights on Brian Holmes here, Tom, and try and make inroads into his lead, which we've all seen Charlie Summers drive before. I'm pretty sure he can do.
Yeah, he definitely will. Charlie Summers, one of the quickest guys out there at the moment. He's made up 8 places from where he started and really hunting down Brian Holmes. I didn't think he'd catch up. I thought he'd catch up, sorry, but I didn't think he'd do it this quickly. All over the back of the Excite driver now then. And we can see why he's driving for Swift Cooper Esports. And this just goes to prove how quick he really is. Over the top of the hill then, such a difficult corner to get right. The car goes really light on 2 wheels as you go over that little kink there. And then it's just about keeping your foot in and trusting that the car is going to grip coming back down the hill. This is a corner that everyone seems to struggle with. Tip the car in, push it out nice and wide. See how much it's jumping around. But Brian Holmes then on the inside looks like he might just get him. Although I think we might have got a little lift there from Charlie Summers. And as you said before, Chaz, a lot of drivers out there playing the tactical game.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to think about the slipstream here, and you can see Charlie Summers making just little adjustments on the wheel there to try and keep the momentum out of that right-hander. such an important corner on the track, really, because you've got such this long back straight. As you can see, Brian Holmes going over to the right hand side, making it very clear which line he is choosing. Charlie Summers gradually closing. He's just going to smoothly go out to the left, keep all the momentum he can. He pretty much keeps the car straight because the circuit already curves around to the right anyway. He's on the inside. He's not leaving all the room in the world for Brian Holmes. Very assertive move down the inside, clips the curb nicely, and really well done. But look at the run Brian Holmes has got. Oh, they're both sideways on exit. They're really pushing these cars to the limit here, Tom. And I tell you what, I thought Brian was going to clip the back end of him there, but Charlie Summers to the lead, but something tells me that's not going to last for the entirety of this race.
No, it's definitely not. It's really going to come down to them fighting tooth and nail all the way to the end. We know that these guys are so quick. Brian Holmes being a previous teammate of ours as well, Chaz, so we know how quick he can be on a personal level. But Charlie Summers, really do not underestimate him. You can see how quickly he's gone through the order, up 9 places from where he started. Pete Van Gool, though, currently up 18 places, but your biggest mover and shaker at the moment appears to be Dave Hampson, up 28 places from where he started. So he's having a brilliant time out there at the moment. Let's not discount the AM race as well. Craig Jones currently leads it from your own Ursum and Carl Hardy, and those guys seem to be pretty closely grouped together as well. So it's all just non-stop action out there at the moment, Chaz, and this is why we love it.
Just seeing something, a massive red chunk on my timing screen. I'm just going back to see what that might be. I think it might have just been a little glitch, actually. Get back to live.
Not sure. I think I might have had that myself. But Charlie Summers then on the outside. Brian Holmes is on the inside. Brian Holmes defending the lead. And he takes it back once again. He keeps hold of it just from Charlie Summers in the number 36. But Martin Plowman all over the back of Charlie Summers as well. And they really are fighting tooth and nail here, Alex. And it's just, I don't even think it's about skill anymore. I think it's about who's got the slipstream at the right time. And I think it's just about keeping up with the driver behind you as best you can. Because these guys really are on the limit at the moment of what these MX5s can do.
Yeah, and you'd think actually at Road Atlanta there'd be plenty of track to play with and things like that, plenty of runoff. But no, they're literally using every inch of this circuit where they need to. To be fair, this is why these guys have built up pretty sizable lead now as well. You think Jack Ashton 3.6 seconds back, and then it's another 7 to Peter Van Gool. So I'll bring the mini map up as well for a second. You can see this little front 3 really stretching away, so absolutely flying.
It's great to see that massive mid-pack snake as well in the middle of the field. There's a real bunch up as the AM category is a bit further down there, right behind your own Ursum. There's Nick McCarron, there's Dave Hampson, who inherited the purple liveried SimLab car from Jack McIntyre at the end of last season. He has Mikey Key, the next car back, but he's chasing Alex Cherney at the moment from Swift Cooper Esports. And these pro guys trying to make their way through here, Tom, but this is the real challenge for them really over the course of the race evening. They've got a couple of races where, because of the reverse grid, they'll be further down the order. They've got to try and fight through the slower guys to make those places back up. But when there is such a position deficit, as we see some lovely formation flying there down the back straight, it can be a bit more difficult sometimes to stay patient behind the slower guys in the AM category, can't it?
Yeah, it can indeed, and from personal experience as well, when you're coming through a field, I mean, I'm not the quickest guy out there, but I've had my fair share of starting from the back and then having to fight your way through. You really do, as you say, have to be patient. A lot of the time, you don't want to just go down the inside. And you've got Adam McNally off then in the 478. He's been relegated down to 27th place, so he won't be very happy with that. Let's watch the replay then. McNally comes diving into the chicane. He's up the inside of one of the result cars, and I think he gets hit by one of the Auto Mechlock Hill cars as well. And my favourite saying, that's all she wrote, and round he went. So he'll be very annoyed with that. And it looks to me, Chaz, as if he's just going to have to redo all that work that he did throughout the race so far.
Yeah, I think he just tried to get a nice switch back there, but didn't realise that the Auto Mech car was just alongside him. Someone that's going to be loving this race at the moment is going to be Mr. Plowman in 3rd place. Martin Plowman's only up 1 position so far in this race, but he's getting a great first-hand view here of Charlie Summers against Brian Holmes, which is a real titanic battle of this series, and he's holding a nice position at the moment with well, a pretty sizable gap of 5 seconds behind him to Jack Ashton. He actually did the fastest third sector of the race as well last time round with Martin Plowman, so it just shows that these guys are helping his pace when it comes to slipstream. Charlie Summers back into the race lead. So I think Brian Holmes and Charlie Summers at the moment are almost working together, really, just to make sure that they extend the gap, as Alex was saying. They have really shot away from the field. Good momentum carried there. You can see Summers is almost getting out of the way for Holmes to go through here. Side by side into turn 1 though. He does hold the inside line. Really close stuff as they both wash out wide. Brilliant to see. But that's just how racing against the same people week in, week out can be such an improvement. I mean, anyone that's on the iRacing service will of course know that you can take part in official races, which are usually on the hour if it's in the MX5. But you're never against the same people, really, unless it's a sort of pre-scheduled thing that people tend to do, where we get certain races week in, week out that are actually what they call strength of field races, where all the best people in a certain car come out and they go, right, let's get everyone together for this. But in a league like this, Tom, it's great to see the close racing that comes from these guys racing each other all the time.
Yeah, and it's another thing as well. You get to know your competitors and you get to know their strengths and weaknesses as you're going around the circuit, and you race with them week in, week out. As Michael Barry then on the inside there of Mr. Graham. Sorry, oh, Jacqueline. Oh, Jacqueline looks like he's gone very sideways. That'll be a screenshot for the photographers. And he manages to keep it going. So fair play to him for not ending up in a wall. Well, that just reverts back to what we were saying, doesn't it, Chaz? It's you get to know people's strengths and weaknesses when you race them week in, week out. And even though they're rivals on the track, it does build a great little community off the track, and you make some great friendships with it as well.
Yeah, there's a really good community behind everything on iRacing, I've found. I mean, if you spend enough time within the community and sort of mingling, let's say is the word, you really get to know everybody, and there is a fantastic community where everyone's willing to help each other out, everyone's always up for a good laugh. And when it translates into the racing and you get fantastic racing like we've seen in this series since we started commentating on it, it's just a really nice sort of reward to get from it. It's really nice to see. And these three at the front are an absolute show of class at the moment. Brian Holmes onto the final lap ahead of Charlie Summers and Martin Plowman, of course, and there's still 4.5 seconds back to Jack Ashton, so that gap has really maintained itself, to be honest, Tom. And even though these guys are fighting, it's almost like the Mercedes F1 team back in 2014. They'd fight each other, but they'd still be making their way away.
Yeah, unfortunately, I remember that very well. Was not the year for the red car, that one, but yeah, I get what you're saying. They're fighting tooth and nail, and they still seem to be pulling away from the guys behind. But here it is then, down the back straight for the final time. They come over the top of the hill. Going to be interesting to see what Charlie Summers and indeed Plowman does here. Brian Holmes is going to have to defend for his life. Charlie Summers then tucked right up behind. He goes to the left to take the inside line going into the corner. If Brian Holmes can defend well, he'll get the inside cut back as they go into the latter part of the chicane. Hard down on the brakes then. Charlie Summers dives the car in, but Brian Holmes looks like he might have the run coming over the top of the hill, and he touches him. That's going to ruin his run there. Plowman on the outside then as they come down the hill. Brian Holmes might lose out completely here, but Plowman's still on the outside. Is he going to get a nose on Brian Holmes? No, he doesn't. So they finished Charlie Summers, Brian Holmes and Martin Plowman. But wow, what a brilliant race that was for them, Chaz.
What a great finish. Oh, that's the number 9 car. That was Gregory Franks. I hope it wasn't. I think it was Craig Jones that he turned around. It was Craig Jones going down the order. Carl Hardy wins the AM category for result clothing in that one, but that was a real shame for Craig Jones. Don't really think it needed to happen, but to be fair, I think, well, that was really close then. Whoever that was coming down the hill, that was his teammate Mikey Key. But I think, I'm not sure whether who to really put the blame on that one. Not that I want to blame anybody for it, but you know, there's always two sides to an incident. Oh, who's that losing it across the line? That's McNally. And then he hits the stationary car of Jones just for comedic value. But wow, he's had a very eventful race tonight as Mr. McNally, so he's going to be wanting to get out of that car ASAP. I know he's in VR as well, so that wouldn't have been the most enjoyable experiences. But real shame there between Franks and Jones. Not quite sure what happened, but I think, to be honest with you, that Craig might have come across a little bit on him there, as we see Summers celebrating by doing a bit of grass tracking with Brian Holmes as they go down the back straight. Great to see. But this is it. It's just these boys having a lot of fun. Very sideways there for Summers. Nearly loses the rear end, but what a great scrap between those boys, and a nice little sort of display here of just the respect between these drivers as they carry on fighting even after the finish.
Yeah, definitely. And
Now
now they've touched. So, no, but I can't help but feeling, Chaz, coming off the last chicane and up the hill, if Brian Holmes hadn't have hit the back of Charlie Summers, I feel he might have got a better run and maybe took the win there. So, but for us to watch and you guys back at home, it made for some absolutely great racing.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant stuff to watch. We all, of course, hope that you are enjoying this back at home. We really do enjoy bringing this to you as well, obviously from the iRacing Esports Network. Don't forget to check out their entire YouTube channel, subscribe, and obviously click the little bell icon for notification of future videos. And of course, check out Apex Racing TV as well. We're on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube as well, doing a lot of streams week in, week out, lots of different series. So come and join the fun. And for the second time tonight, we do have the race results here, Tom.
So Charlie Summers takes a very good win then from Brian Holmes and Martin Plowman. Jack Ashton in 4th, with Pete Van Gool in 5th, Nick McCarron in 6th. Carl Hardy wins the AM race in 7th overall behind him, and the rest of the AM podium was Gregory Ranks and your own Ursum. Ursum finishing down in P9, so a good run from him. Adalkir Al-Amri in 10th, Dave Hampson in 11th, Kip Stevens in 12th, Luke Cooper in 13th, Alex Cherney in 14th with Mikey Key in 15th, Ralph Cullen in 16th, Craig Jones in 17th, and then Rob Graham comes home in 18th for Team Automech Not Kill. Alex Perkis in 19th for Northern Lights, a long-time standing iRacing team there, great to see him in the series. Scott Malcolm in 20th, Nils Carstensen in 21st, Law Murray 22nd, Adam McNally in 23rd, Joe McDonald 24th, Adam Delmont 25th, David Ayres 26th, with Stephen Cooley in 27th. Carl Jacqueline after that fantastic power slide across the grass, in 28th. Anthony Ainsworth in 29th, Stuart Dick 30th, Billy Rose in 31st, Michael Barry 32nd, Benjamin Mears in 33rd, and then your non-finishers were Andy Maxwell, Jamie Ayres, Ashley Beard. We should have a few more. Or is that the end of the list? No, it's not. Max Wright, James Ritchie, and Cesare Rizzo, who I believe didn't even start. So,
and once again, capacity grid for that one. We had another, I think it was 39 in that one actually. So we've only lost one from the first race, but I believe that was Jason Cooper actually, because he wasn't in that one either. That was the number 1 car. So shame to see that Jason wasn't in that, but yeah, another brilliant race. And of course, we've got 2 more of them yet to come this evening. And to determine the grid for the third of those races tonight, Alex Simpson will have the reverse grid spinny wheel.
Indeed. Well, obviously -4 for the last time. Straight into it. Let's see if we get this time. Bit of a slow spin. Could be 35th, could be 20th. Ends on 20th. Small one.
Not often we get a small reverse grid in this series then. That will be Scott Malcolm on pole position, so that incident has actually benefited him somewhat. He'll be alongside Alex Perkis, who is going to be a newcomer to this series as well in this round, so he gets thrown in at the deep end on the front row of the grid. Rob Graham and Craig Jones will line up on the second row of the grid, and Ralph Cullen in the number 93 car will be 5th. So if you join me, Tom and Alex in about 5 to 10 minutes time on the iRacing Esports Network, we'll bring you the third of 4 races this evening. Don't go away.
chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMeritt at the line.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm getting it! I'm getting it! I'm getting video! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No, baby! Stay back!
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and Road Atlanta for the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Chaz Draycott here alongside Tom Jacobs with Alex Simpson on the cameras. Tom, we've seen two really lovely races so far tonight. Fantastic driving by everyone. Nice and respectful. Only tiny incidents here and there. And now we've got the third and fourth races coming up. So the action should only get better from here.
Yeah, indeed, it should do. We always expect the third and mainly the fourth races to end up in a few more incidents, but if last week's anything to go by, that will be the case, but hopefully everyone gets through cleanly. So Scott Malcolm takes pole then, Alex Perkis in second, Rob Graham's in third, Craig Jones fourth, Ralph Cullen in fifth, Mikey Key in sixth, Alex Cherney in seventh, Luke Cooper in eighth, Kip Stevens in ninth, and then Dave Hampson in 10th. And we'll let the rest of the guys scroll through, as I believe we're about to go to green flag racing. Here we go then, Scott Malcolm, the 74, he's really looking to get a good start here as the revs rise. 1 red light, 2 red light, 3 red light, 4, 5, drop the clutch, and away they go. Good start from Malcolm. Already though, making moves to go up the outside. What a great start from Craig Jones it was in the yellow result clothing car as well. As they all make their way down towards turn 1. Scott Malcolm still on the inside, but coming under pressure now from the Northern Lights racing driver. And they go towards the kink, always a tricky one to try and get right. All the rest of the cars filtering through behind them. Scott Malcolm, we can hear a bit of a collision in the background, although it looks like everyone's through nice and cleanly. No one dropping down the order really bad so far. And Chaz, what a lovely nice and clean start for everybody. And Scott Malcolm, we have got someone off. Actually, Jack Ashton.
Oh no, poor Jack.
Slowing down the order.
Commentators curse to the highest degree there, ladies and gents. Literally, Tom says the word clean, and coming into shot, there's Jack Ashton, completely sideways to the racing surface. Luckily, he didn't take anybody else out. There's someone serving a slowdown penalty there. I think it's Carl Hardy. I just see bright green, so it usually is Carl. They're side by side for the lead then. Alex Perkis for Northern Lights Racing alongside Scott Malcolm in the result clothing car. There's another car going down the order. It is Carl Hardy, so he's dropping down even further. Plenty of battling straight away here, Tom, and we've got a lot of the AMs at the front. The first of the pro guys is Alex Cherney, just in the background there in 6th place with the orange wheels in the Swift Cooper Esports car. I couldn't get the words out then. Oh, down the inside.
Oh, and he's hit. Oh, who's he hit as well? Craig Jones falling down the order. That was a bit of an interesting one going in there. I think someone just stuck their nose in a bit too much. I didn't quite catch who it was.
It was Rob Graham went down the inside.
Down the inside, Rob Graham went, and then it caused a little bit of a pinball effect. But Scott Malcolm then still leading, and going into lap 2 from Perkis. Mikey Key in 3rd.
So near contact.
It's so difficult to try and keep up with what everyone's doing. As people nearly 3 wide as they come through the kink as well. Greg Ranks was the car that we saw going off onto the grass through turn 1. But I don't know where to look, Chaz. I don't know about you.
This is absolutely mental stuff. I feel sorry for Alex having to press the buttons for all these cameras at the moment, because there's just cars everywhere. Look at the massive train of machines all the way from the lead. Well, I say all the way from the lead. Look at Scott, Malcolm and Perkis, they're away, but from about 6th place back, I don't think, well, actually looking at 7th place back, sorry, there's not a single car that's more than 0.8 of a second apart from the one in front. So that goes all the way down to 36th place. Just shows how close this is. There you can see on the left hand side, that's what we get shown on our timing screen live as well. It goes orange when it's under half a second, yellow when it's between half a second and a second, and then of course, as you can see, once the gap is bigger than a second, it'll go white. But you can see these gaps all moving around now as the cars are starting to slipstream each other down the back straight. But that was an incredible lap. But I think Rob Graham sort of got what he gave there, Tom. He chucked it down the inside and sort of bounced off Craig Jones. It was a shame to see Craig lose places as well, but Rob just was the only one really that lost out and ended up on the grass on his own there. So, yeah, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I think. He just wanted to make the move, but it didn't pay off for him.
Yeah, and I think that's just motorsport, isn't it? It happens to the best of us. I think we've all done it while we've been out racing. But Al Amri sets the fastest time then with a 1:35.7. I just want to talk quickly about Alex Cherney. We saw him, I think he was in P6 at the start of lap 2, and now he's down in P11. He was P12 at one point. So he's fallen down the order. I don't know whether it was a slight mistake or something has come into that, or whether he did make contact with someone else. But here we go then. Al Amri up the inside of Perkis. Al Amri then slots back in behind him in P3. And Scott Malcolm has got one hell of a train behind him. And he's, as Al Amri does slightly touch Alex Perkis there. As they come down the hill then, this is another tricky corner to get right, because you're having to brake while turning as well, which can cause all sorts of upset within the car. Mikey Key in there as well as Luke Cooper. So everyone's fighting tooth and nail at the moment, Chaz, and you just see this pack here and you just got to think to yourself, I think Cooper and Stevens, you've got McNally coming up as well, and Hampson. So Scott Malcolm's going to have his work cut out to stay in front at the moment.
Yeah, he's going to have to put in one hell of a defensive drive. These guys are just stacking up behind him. Mikey Key looking pretty safe at the moment, 3rd in the AM category. He's 4th overall. His next rival is Ralph Cullinan, but we've seen these pro boys, they can get through very quickly. Abdelkir Al Amri there trying to get down the inside in the 777 asymmetric car. Oh, Scott Malcolm's gone wide. He was late at the brakes. He comes back over. Oh. Contact with Al Amri and he's around. Well, there's some more commentators' curse for you, ladies and gentlemen. We mentioned Scott Malcolm. He's got to do a defensive drive. And by the next corner, he's out of the race. So, really sorry there, Scott. We do apologise. I'm sure if we get you in for an interview later, I can apologise to you in person. But it leaves us with a really strong battle between these guys, Tom. They're too wide going into turn 1. Everyone's going to take different lines. And, well, that's one way to dispose of your opponent. 4 wide there. But somehow, they're all still on the circuit. I'm going to say it before someone else goes flying off. But how did they all stay on there? Al Amri was literally about 3 feet off the ground when he made contact with one of the Simlab. I think it was Hampson, wasn't it? He's got about 6 inches of bodywork sticking up off the top of that bonnet there. But, yeah, that was a hell of a big hit. And somehow, Al Amri is still on the track. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant stuff. And that'll be another one for the photographers on the track side as well. Just nice to see him pretty much on 2 wheels going through there. But now McNally's up into 3rd then. Van Gool behind him. This is all really starting to pan out. All the fast drivers are starting to come towards the front. But Alex Perkis, the AM driver and newcomer to the series, leads from Mikey Key. I say that, and just as I say that, they do swap positions. McNally's also up into 2nd place. And honestly, as soon as I say something, everything changes at the moment while we're watching. But some great sunset skies above us as well out there. And I think it's just great to see these guys fighting so hard and seeing the AM drivers as well up with them, Chaz. And McNally now inherits the lead.
Oh no.
There's someone out wide, and I think he's spun.
It was McNally, yeah.
McNally falling down the order. He's having a nightmare evening.
Second time tonight, McNally was leading.
He's vettled it completely. He's been round pretty much every single race this evening, but I'm sure we'll get some word from him after the set of races that we have this evening. But Al Amri on 2 wheels again coming through turn number 1, but Pete Van Gool leads then from Al Amri, Cooper, Summers and then Hampson. So 5 of the big power 5 that are out there this evening, all now fighting for the lead, Chaz.
Yeah, Al Amri there, 2 laps in succession on 2 wheels round turn 1, but in different ways, with different reasons. First time round he was absolutely wailed into the side of by another car, and this time round he just did it on the curb himself. A little bit more control this time, so he'll probably be grateful for that. But yeah, he's still doing a great job chasing down Peter Van Gool, who of course put it on pole at the beginning of the evening, so he's back at the front for this one. But again, we've got Cooper and Summers behind, and it just shows the consistency of these Swift Cooper Esports guys. They do not let off whatsoever. Ralph Cullinan is the highest placed AM in 6th at the moment, getting swamped by the pro drivers around him as well. He's got Hampson, Holmes, Cherney and Delmont in there as well. Martin Plowman, another good drive for him at the moment as well. He is 11th. He's gained 7 places so far as Martin Plowman, but look at this battle here. This has got Hampson, Cullinan, Holmes and Delmont in there as well. You can just see how close it is on that battle box on the left hand side. All the cars switching places as they go into the left chicane. 3 wide, Delmont on the inside. Oh, nearly making contact there with, I think that's Ralph Cullinan in the orange result clothing car. We're looking at Hampson and Holmes, who are side by side at the moment. These boys, of course, were involved in the first race when 2 of them got turned around in the last couple of corners. Now we're going to be side by side into turn 1. Maybe a bit of retribution here from one of them. A couple of people still putting in personal bests, which is nice to see. And Holmes down the inside of Hampson there takes the position. But he's going to try and get it back. Oh, was Delmont a little bit wide out of turn 1 behind him there. Not the ideal line that we've seen. And there is the number, it's number 22, I believe, of James McRitchie. He's up 24 places in this race so far, Tom. Fantastic drive by him.
Yeah, he's having a really good run, isn't he? He's always been thereabouts. He had a brilliant opening season when he was an AM driver, and he really sort of shone through. And now he's in the pro category, and he's been midfield pro thereabouts, and then had some really good finishes as well. So I think if he keeps the practice up, he could be one to watch for later seasons. But Ralph Cullinan currently leading the AM race then, as all the boys asymmetric really getting involved with a lot of the Swift Cooper Esports. And I've got to say it, Chaz, asymmetric, were relatively unheard of a few seasons ago. Now they're really starting to come through, and I think maybe not this season, but next season they could really challenge for that Constructors' Championship. Yeah,
definitely, and it was just McRitchie that was racing for them last season, but he's brought Stuart Dick and Al Amri with him this time round, as we see Charlie Summers going back to the race lead once again this evening. Peter Van Gool's going to be sick of this guy taking the lead off him at the moment, but he's going to keep his foot in. But this is a fantastic train of cars that we've got here in the the top 12. You can see none of them are separated. Well, they weren't when I said it. They weren't separated by more than a second, but Plowman is the only one that's a second behind anybody else. So this is a brilliant train of cars we've got going on. Into turn 1 they go. Van Gool looking down the inside of Summers here. And then the aforementioned asymmetric car of Abdulkir Al Amri is there as well. And I've still not updated his decal layer, so his windscreen banner is green, which would imply that he is in the AM category. He's actually in the Pro category, so that's on me. I do apologise for that. Behind him is Luke Cooper and then Brian Holmes. So really, really strong lineup. And then obviously you've got Stevens, Hampson, Cherney, Plowman, Delmont. It's a really, really strong top 10, Tom. And they've sort of filtered the AM drivers down now, and they've only got a couple of laps left to fight out for themselves.
Yeah, they have, and I'm not really too sure who's going to take it. Charlie Summers, though, this evening, I think, if he, depending on his race 4 result, will probably be my driver of the day. He's been absolutely just on point all evening, and really he's been setting the pace for the other guys to try and catch on to. Brian Holmes, though, down in P5, he's up 14 places, so don't count him out for the rest of the evening, as everyone seems to be all sort of jumbling up now towards the end, trying to get into one big pack. It's like a little tin of sardines out there, but they all buzz like wasps as they come down towards the last chicane then. Summers back over the top of the hill, Van Gool all over him in the number 39 Simlab car. Cooper follows them through, followed by Al Amri and Holmes as well. And separating the top 5 at the moment, Chaz, there is only 1 second. So, sorry, there's a bit more than 1 second. I'm reading my timing screen wrong, but there's about 2 seconds separating the entire top 5 at the moment. And it's, yeah, I still think it's anyone's guess who's going to take this one.
Yeah, definitely anything can happen in this series. We've seen it in a lot of events where it comes to the last 2 laps and someone that may have been 6th at one point ends up winning a race. Plenty of incidents, plenty of slipstreaming, so yeah, it's just getting more and more exciting, this championship. The more we watch it, Charlie Summers doing a fine job at the moment, really launching the MX5 over the curbs. You can see Peter Van Gool there as well, really launching it. Wow, that was Luke Cooper going very wide for over that curb there. I think a couple of the guys followed him through there as well on the same line. He's got Al Amri right behind him now, putting the pressure on. But he's got to be careful of Brian Holmes, and I think Brian's actually going to get both of them here. Well, he gets Al Amri anyway, and he is going to get Luke Cooper. Cooper out wide, bit of bumping and banging behind him, including Dave Hampson there and Kip Stevens. Kip Stevens was displaying a very funny message on the back of his car that said if it's dented, it's been hit by a SimLab car. And it actually just did get hit by a SimLab car as well, so it's quite an accurate thing to put on the back of the car, really, Tom.
Yeah, it definitely is. But look at this little bunch coming down the hill then. Absolutely, my God. It's like the red arrows coming down then. Into the last chicane they go once again. Brian Holmes sat in P3, defending from Cooper, and he's really got to try and make up that gap. They're coming on to lap 9 now, so Brian Holmes has got it all to do to try and catch the two guys that are out in front. And that really, I think the battle for third could be anybody's guess as well. Cooper's looking very strong, as is Hampson and Al Amri. But don't count Cherney out as well. He's currently up. Well, he's down 1 place from where he started. But Cherney seems to be one of the quickest guys out there at the moment. His fastest lap time's been a 1:35.6, which is pretty much bang on the money for what the leaders are doing as well. So he's, yeah, I think this is really going to come down to the final lap again, Chaz, and hopefully we get a finish like we saw in race 2.
Yeah, hopefully so. It can close up very easily over the course of a lap. As you can see, the sun has now pretty much gone in. It's gone a little bit gloomy here. You can see it's still lighting up the trees, which is a lovely effect that iRacing has still included. So the lighting is very accurate here. You can still see a little bit of the glint on the cars as they go past us. But yeah, really, really good scrap throughout the whole top 10 here then. So we see Cherney now on the back of Kip Stevens. He used to be in the Swift Cooper Esports team, but he's made way for, I believe it was Marcelo Panion that has joined that team for this season. And I'll tell you what, Marcelo's been brilliant. He's not actually out there tonight by the look of it. But Cherney just biding his time at the moment. He's got another lap yet to make a couple of places here, and like I was saying, it can very easily bunch up. So we'll have to just see what he does. He's going to have a quick look at his former teammate down the inside. He might go a little bit later on the brakes to try and get it done. No, he backs out of it, although Kip Stevens goes very deep on the brake side. I don't know how he got that stopped on, but it looked like he was going to go straight on then.
Yeah, he did, but I think that's a defensive line that he wanted to take just in case Cherney decided to come through. Cherney then trying to go around the outside on the final corner, and he's side by side as well with Stevens. He's got Plowman in there with him. This could all end up in tears coming towards turn 1 then, as they then tip the cars into the corner. Wow, around the outside goes Cherney. The car gets a little bit sideways, and he loses quite a bit of momentum going up the hill, which brings Kip Stevens as they go too wide towards the kink then. Stevens still on the inside, but Cherney round the outside, and what a brilliant move that was over the course of about 2 corners. But looking back towards the front, Summers still leading from Pete Van Gool, and he looks to have this all in hand at the moment. A really calm and smooth driver is Charlie Summers. Pete Van Gool, though, really don't underestimate him. I mean, you've got Brian Holmes in there as well, and the gap between Brian Holmes and Pete Van Gool, not a lot. So here we go then, towards the latter part of the lap. Back up the hill they go for the final time of race number 3, going underneath the Mazda bridge. Pete Van Gool tucked up nice and tight underneath Charlie Summers' back bumper. He moves out to the right, then darts back into the slipstream. Doesn't think he's got enough speed to do it just yet. They are side by side. Pete Van Gool's got a nose on him though. Charlie Summers is going to have to go very late on the brakes to try and make it. And Pete Van Gool still holding the line. He does get through. A brilliant move there from him. But Charlie Summers has got the run going back up the hill then, as they come towards the last corner now. Back down the hill that they just went up. Charlie Summers on the inside, Pete Van Gool on the outside, Brian Holmes in there as well, and Charlie Summers nearly loses it but manages just to take the race win. And another fantastic race finish there, Chaz.
Yeah, that was amazing to watch. Really, really good commitment from the guys. Oh, it's Carstensen and McCarron literally together over the line there. Just having a quick look, McCarron just did it by just over 100th of a second. Nicely done by Nick McCarron, but what another brilliant finish, Tom. And it just shows how close these races are all the way through, right to the very end. These boys do not give up whatsoever. And as we've said along the whole sort of span of this championship, it may not be the quickest car in iRacing, and it may not be the most immediately exciting thing when you've got sort of LMP1 cars, Formula cars like the Formula Renault, for example. you see this and you go, oh, it's an MX5. But what brilliant racing we consistently see from these guys. It's awesome to watch.
Yeah, it is, and I think it resides with the fact that it's the first car that everyone picks up on the iRacing service when they go into rookies, and I think that's what taints its name a little bit, because people think, oh, that's the slow car that I start off with, and there's no real point in me going back to it. But honestly, I think if you haven't driven the MX5 in a while, you need to go back and give it a try, because it really is one of the most exciting cars to drive on the entire service, and I think that's why we love it so much.
And you can get the back end out as well, as Mr. Jack McIntyre very, very wonderfully displayed to Alex and I at Donington, where he drifted the entire last lap. As we see a bit of shenanigans on the cool down lap there involving Charlie Summers, but yeah, another brilliant race, really feisty stuff. But people just don't seem to want to win these races, Tom. Everyone just keeps spinning out of the lead. We've seen McNally do it twice tonight. Scott Malcolm did it as well, and obviously Rob Graham went to send it down the inside earlier on, and yeah, that didn't stick for him either. So to be at the front of the pack is probably a bit of a curse tonight by the look of it.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the trouble is you've got a lot of the faster guys at about lap 6 or 7 will then really start to come through, and it can be quite daunting when you look behind you and you see the likes of Charlie Summers and Brian Holmes all up the back of you. If you're an AM driver and you know you're not as quick as those guys, so I think they pile the pressure on, don't they? And that's why they come through. But so Charlie Summers then takes the race win from Pete Van Gool and Brian Holmes. A fantastic, brilliant race finish there from those three. Just 8/100ths of a second between Pete Van Gool and Charlie Summers. Luke Cooper comes home in 4th. Dave Hampson, in 5th. Abdul Al Amri in 6th. Alex Cherney came home in 7th. Kip Stevens in 8th. Martin Palman in 9th. Another good result from him. Adam Delmont in 10th. Nick McCarron in 11th. Nils Carstensen in 12th. And James Ritchie with that fantastic race finish. Just 5 thousandths of a second. I couldn't read that then. Between those two, Ashley Beard in 14th. Greg Ranks wins the AM race for Team Auto Knock Hill, and it's a 1-2 for them in AM with Rob Graham in 16th. Mikey Key in 17th with Andy Maxwell in 18th. Should get the next page up just shortly. There we go. Grav Cullinan in 19th, Max Wright in 20th, Michael Waltman 21st, Lorne Murray in 22nd, Jeroen Ursum, resident spinny wheel guy, comes home in 23rd, Billy Rose 24th with Scott Malcolm after his disastrous accident in 25th, Adam McNally, the new Sebastian Vettel of the series, spins once again, comes home in 26th, Craig Jones in 27th, Alex Perkis in 28th, Carl Jacquelet in 29th, Anthony Ainsworth in 30th, David Ayres in 31st, Stuart Dick in 32nd, Benjamin Muse in 33rd. Sorry, Rizzo finishes 34th, Stephen Cooley in 35th, Jack Ashton in 36th for Excite Racing in the number 98 car. And then we've got Michael Barry, the first of your non-finishers, Joe McDonald, Jamie Ayres, and Carl Hardy.
Thank you very much, Tom. Brilliant third race there. And nice to see the lighting conditions change over the course of the evening as well. That's one thing that I'm really happy about that this series does so well. They change the time of day between each race that they host, and we obviously see differing times of day. And of course, that means that the final race of the night, we're going to end up under lights, which is it's always an exciting prospect when we've seen, even in the daylight, these boys are having a really feisty time anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, and it really does change up racing, as I say, every week. Nighttime racing, if you haven't done it with an iRacing, whether it's endurance or whatever takes your fancy, as long as it's got lights on it, just go out and do it a bit of night racing, and I'm sure it will. You'll learn a lot from it, put it that way. Yeah,
it's a very focusing experience, and while it can be a bit daunting sometimes, it's a little bit scary to do, but yeah, it's fantastic fun. We of course really urge you to do so. I'm just currently capturing a screenshot of Abdulkader Al Amri on very much just about 2 wheels through turn 1. Big hit from Dave Hampson. But Alex, meanwhile, will have the reverse grid spinny wheel for us for the final time this evening.
Yeah, he does indeed. Give it a spin. Looks like it's going to be full -4. Indeed it is.
Down. Smashing stuff, thank you. We'll have a look down the order then. Full would have been Jack Ashton, who Tom very quickly cursed earlier on. And if we go back 4 places, that puts Stuart Dick on pole position in the number 61 car. And then it's the 666 of David Ayres alongside him. Anthony Ainsworth will be 3rd with Carl Jackalette in 4th. And Alex Perkis will be in 5th place on the grid on his debut for Northern Lights. So we will join you again in about 5, maybe 10 or even 15 minutes' time on the iRacing Esports Network. It'll be me, Tom, and Alex for the final race of the evening from Road Atlanta in the BSR MX5 Pro Series. Don't go away. welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series. I'm Chaz Draycott alongside Tom Jacobs with Alex Simpson on the cameras, and we're here for the fourth and final race here tonight. Tom, under lights once again, and well, really hoping for a great way to end the evening. A look at all of those AM drivers in the top 12.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic race, and it's especially at night. The guys are really going to have their wits about them. But Stuart Dick on pole then from David Ayres, Anthony Ainsworth in third, Carl Jackalette in fourth, Alex Perkis in fifth, Craig Jones in sixth with Adam McNally. Hopefully he'll make it to the end of this one in seventh. Scott Malcolm in eighth, Billy Rose in ninth with Jeroen Ursum in 10th. And we'll let the rest scroll through then, because I think we're about to go to green flag racing here for the final time of the BSR MX5 Pro Series. I hope you've enjoyed the evening. I know we have in the commentary box, just waiting for David Ayres to line up on the grid in P number 2. He doesn't, so Stuart Dick's got a great start. The lights start to come on then. Drop the clutch and away we go. Let's see who got a good start. Predictably, Stuart Dick does get a pretty decent start there, but he's away off in first. The 2 Year 1 cars of Anthony Ainsworth and Carl Jackalette still behind him in P2 and P3. Adam McNally, though, what a cracking start he got, up into P4 already, and he'll be chasing down the 3 cars in front of him. And I'm not going to say everybody through cleanly this time, Chaz, because last time I ended up cursing everyone.
Yeah, it looks like there's been a bit of an incident further down the order. We've had about 5 or maybe 6 cars off. Gregory Franks, Brian Holmes, Jack Ashton, Kip Stevens, they've all lost out. David Ayres didn't even take the start, so real shame for him. There's a car from the inside. That is Stuart Dick, race leader. I've just looked back, there's a couple of cars as well flying down the order off on the grass. It's all kicking off at the beginning of this one, but our race leader, Stuart Dick, is out of the race, it looks like. He's still dropping down the order. Seems to have settled in 15th place. There's more cars off there. Oh, it's just an absolute mess in the middle of the pack there. There's another car, bit of argy-bargy between Ainsworth and Perkins. Perkins is off the track as well. Jones is involved. Look at all this bunching up here. They're all going to want to get out of the way to try and avoid Perkins coming back on. Who is that going flying through the middle? That is Lorne Murray making his way through. I don't know how he did that, Tom, but he just weaved his way through some of these guys. That was amazing stuff. But the 3 wide now going down. Look at this gaggle of cars. This is just... I'm scared at how badly wrong this is going to go, if I'm honest with you. McNally takes the race lead. So it's a dream start for Adam. He's got Jackalette with him, but then we've got Max Wright, Lorne Murray, Billy Rose, Craig Jones, and oh, there's someone off there. That's Cullinan on the inside in a result clothing car as well. Somehow the rest have made it through, Tom, and well, I don't really know where to start with what went on there, but we've only lost, by the look of it, 4 cars so far. Rob Graham, Mick Barry and Kip Stevens and Brian Holmes. It looks like David Ayres has started the race, but from the pit lane. He's 32nd at the moment. Anthony Ainsworth has just come in the pits as well, so dropping like flies after the first lap, but we often see that in this fourth and final race of the evening, don't we?
Yeah, we do, and it's what happens with night racing is you lose the ability to see exactly where your braking point is, and you've got all the headlights dazzling behind you, and it adds a new dimension to racing. The track's a lot cooler, obviously, so the car's going to grip a lot more. It won't slide out of corners that maybe you're used to, and things like that. So, you know, I think we've come to expect it with the fourth and final race, and everyone gets a bit bunched up, and everyone's getting a bit tired as well from the previous races. But McNally at the moment has pulled out a 4-second gap already over Carl Jackalette. Looks like on my timing screen. I may be wrong though, but and we've got more carnage in the background that I can see, and a lot of Abdulkir Al Amri falling down the order. Dave Hampson as well. Benjamin Mears is also falling down the order on my timing screen. So more carnage in shoes there, Chaz, and if it goes anything else, it's going to be like Monaco 1996 with only 3 cars finishing.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have that few finishing, but yeah, you never know with these boys. They like a bit of argy-bargy, but that's usually the nature of the MX5. You can get your elbows out a little bit and shove it into each other and just sort of send a very a braille-orientated message to the drivers around you. I remember Charlie Cox, very famous British Touring Car Championship commentator, describing a little hip and shoulder as a braille pass on his competitors when he used to give it a bit of wing mirror to the door. But yeah, these guys not scared to get the elbows out, of course. Down the inside there is Jamie Ayres on Delmont. Bit of a shove. That was a braille pass for you. There you go. That's how it's done. Adam Delmont getting that. Well, they'll want it in Morse code next time, and I think Peter Van Gul's about to lick the stamp and send it as well, so he's getting mugged off by the SimLab boys here. But that's the beauty of this, and like you say, Tom, night racing really does sort of, it just adds that extra little element. Everything's a bit more contrasty in what's around you. It's difficult to see who's around you and where they're trying to go, and obviously you've got all the different lighting effects on the go as well that iRacing give us, and it can be very distracting a lot of the time as well, because you spend most of your time watching in your rear view mirror in these races just to try and see who it is coming up behind you.
Yeah, you definitely do, and when you do see him in your rear view mirror coming up behind you, it's just a bright dazzle of light. But they've got the full main beam on, giving it everything they've got to try and get past you. As we've already on lap number 3, and it's been a bit like the Bahrain Grand Prix, isn't it? It's been action all the way through. But Excite and SimLab seem to be the cars to beat this evening. We haven't really talked too much about Swift Cooper Esports. I just want to touch on them quickly. They don't seem to have had the best of evenings out there at the moment, Chaz. They've been thereabouts, but I think this evening really it's been the main story has been SimLab and Excite, as we've got one of the Result Clothing cars off on the outside, and I think that is Craig Jones in the 43. The Scott Malcolm goes through, and he's driving for Result Clothing as well, so a costly mistake there from Craig Jones, and he's currently down 12 places from where he started. The biggest move and shaker at the moment is Cesare Rizzo, who's up 21 places from where he started. Sorry, no, it's Jamie Ayres who's up 29, and I think more of that is just a result of staying out of all the carnage.
Yeah, and I was actually speaking to Jamie between races, and he's had a very frustrating evening so far. I think he's had incidents in all of them. I think he got disqualified from one of the races as well for going over his incident point limit. For anyone that doesn't know, on iRacing you get incident points whether you go off the track or have contact with another car, for example. And if you do that too often, you accrue incident points and will get, you get disqualified from the race on the spot if you have too many of them. I think the limit for this series is 20. You'll get 4 for contact with another car, anywhere between 2 and 4. You get 2 for completely spinning the car, and you just get 1 if you dip half of the car off the track onto the grass. So you have to be careful when pushing the car really hard. But yeah, it's great to see the most of the field still going anyway. And despite those big incidents earlier on, a lot of people, they've not given up, Tom, and that's one of the sort of nicer things about the spirit of this series. People just really give it everything, carry on.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just one of them as well. You know, even if you're finishing 25th or the way down the order, you're still going to get points from it, and of course all the points count that you can get. Jamie Ayres then alongside Stuart Dick for asymmetric, the asymmetric driver, sorry, way out wide onto the grass as the diamond formation come into the last corner then, and we've got one of the SimLab cars round. I believe that was Cesare Rizzo. He's had a bit of a nightmare evening. Last race out, he retired as well, so he does get the car going. Hasn't got any damage on it though, and I think it has, as he it has now, because he's just flung it into the wall. But he's back into the pit lane then, and I don't know whether he will be able to get that car going. So a lot of big names in this series, Chaz, falling out at the moment. The likes of, we've got Stephen Cooley's out as well, Michael Barry, so a lot of the main AM drivers are out, and Kip Stevens and Brian Holmes as well are currently out of the race. So, but at the moment McNally leads then with a very comfortable 2.25 second lead over Carl Jacquelet, who's got a nearly 6 second lead behind him with Lorne Murray, who's the next AM driver down. So as we were saying earlier, Carl Jacquelet, he's been doing a lot of practice, as you said, Chaz, and I think it's really starting to show and really starting to pay off for him out there.
Yeah, his results are getting a bit more consistent. It's just the odd incident here and there, which sometimes you can't avoid in this championship. It's just such close racing throughout the whole field that you do sometimes get caught up with him. It's just how it is sometimes. But still the battles rage on then. We've got Adam Delmont here ahead of Stuart Dick, who started this race on pole position. 11th place at the moment, trying to go around the outside into the chicane, really late on the brakes, manages to keep it on the black stuff. Oh, Delmont just goes across the front of him there, I think. And Delmont, there you go, there's first-hand experience of what happens when you get disqualified from the race. Adam would have received some points for obviously making contact there, and literally straight away, click of a button, and he's gone. That is the server doing that itself though. iRacing itself does determine the incident points. It's not done by anybody manually there and then. But shame to see Delmont go out, but in a way I kind of think he came across the front of him there. And speaking of, there's Mikey Key across the front of Billy Rose. Billy Rose gets on the anchors though. I think he tried to slow it down as, oh, someone else gets involved as well. who was that got turned around? Or was it Billy? I think Billy actually got clipped by someone else there as well, Tom. I think he got on the anchors to sort of just say to Mikey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, and you can have the position. Well, I think Billy went into him there, actually. I did say Mikey went across the front. Yeah, oh, Billy got smashed into by Peter Van Gool. And again, Peter Van Gool's another one of them, Tom, where he just gets caught up in these incidents when he's doing well up front, and you can see the difference that made just coming down that straight there. He's got no straight line speed now.
Yeah, he would have lost a lot of the aerodynamic capability of the car. There's not a lot on it anyway. There's not too much in the way of drag on it. But yeah, you put too much damage on any car and it will be slow on the straights. What did you say about Pete Van Gool? He's a very capable driver, very quick driver, but he just seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time at a lot of the time. I don't think he's an overly aggressive driver. I don't think a lot of the incidents can really be his fault. I think he just gets caught up in incidents when he's battling, and it's just one of them. And I think it's just the one thing you've just got to work on is we've got another car on the grass on the inside. Not sure who that is. I think that's Anthony Ainsworth. But yeah, you just got to, one thing to work on if you get in those situations, just be a bit more situational awareness about what's around you and just try and drive to survive, as it were. So as we look a bit further forward, then we've got Mr. Luke Cooper in the number 35, currently up 20 places for Swift Cooper Esports, and he's chasing down his teammate of Alex Cherney, James McRitchie in between them, of course, and Asymmetric once again, Chaz, are really in the thick of things. And as I said earlier, they could really come up maybe in the next few seasons, see if they sign for drivers as well, and I think they could be challenging further on in the next few seasons, and they could be really one to watch out for, because at the moment it's just been a bit of a Swift Cooper Esports one show, isn't it? Not so much this evening, but in previous rounds it's been pretty much all about them and everyone just having to chase them as Stuart Dick starts falling down the order.
Yeah, they've sort of made a bit of a strong impression on this championship, to say the least. We saw them come in their first season, I think it was just a couple of seasons ago, and we knew straight away that they were good, and they were quick, and they're just getting better and better. Obviously, they had Jason Cooper winning the championship in the last season that they did. As we see now, Scott Malcolm coming under attack from Jack Ashton, who you very quickly, well, we commentator cursed both of these boys earlier on, so we won't say that they're doing well, because otherwise there's going to be an almighty accident here. And yeah, we can't, as Brian Holmes has just pointed out in the YouTube chat, we cannot speak about the guy that is in the lead at the moment, because knowing our luck again, he'll go flying off. And oh, Alex has really jinxed it by showing him on camera. There is the Geordie himself, Mr. Adam McNally. Oh, we're even on board now. He's really pushing his luck here, is Alex. He'll be giggling to himself in the background here. But he's leading the race. He's doing everything he needs to do, isn't he? I'm going to go out and say it. And he's going to be. It's a hell of a turnaround for his evening, because so far he's not. I don't think he's finished a race so far. Well, actually no, he did finish one, but he spun it across the line just to show his dismay at his result, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and I think we've spoken to him previously. He's our main go-to in terms of interviewing, and I was watching a little bit of him when you were talking a few moments ago, Chaz, of his onboard on from his live feed, and he's been so calm and collected in this race, and everything just seems to be going right for him. The car's being positioned exactly where it needs to be, and I think in terms for his morale and going forward, this is, if he does get the race win, which I hope he does, because he's put in such a sterling drive so far. I think it'll be really good for him, and I think it's just a great boost to confidence that every race win brings to us. Yeah,
definitely, certainly is, and Excite need it really. They've had a bit of a mixed evening, but it'd be good for him to get the result on the board for them. Got a couple of people in the YouTube chat as well, happy to see him leading the way. Not that we can see a massive amount, because as you can tell, Road Atlanta isn't a very heavily lit circuit. But you can see the wonderful little reflective strips on the corners of these MX5s, which, to be fair, is one of my favourite things about the car, actually. It's a nice little charming bit of that you see on these cars. I was also, just while we are speaking about the MX5, or while I am anyway, I'm doing my usual thing of warbling on and on. I was speaking to Steve Hefford a couple of weeks ago, and he mentioned that as soon as you knock the front end of this car in any corner, or even on the bumper right in the middle, it loses so much. He says it's like they're made out of cracker bread. You just literally tap it against anything and it ruins the handling straight away, so you really have to be careful and not get your elbows out too much with the guy ahead of you. Maybe a bit of door-to-door stuff is okay, but if you're going to use the front end as a battering ram, Tom, it can ruin your own race as well as someone else's if you take them off.
Yeah, it can, and I won't lie, I haven't got too much experience of the car. I'm more of a more of a GT and sort of downforcey car driver. But yeah, I can see what he's saying. You see it a lot in it's sort of like in prototype stuff. As soon as the floor or the front end gets damaged slightly, it seriously affects the top end. And then you're just trying to stick in the slipstream of the car in front as much as you can to try and make up that deficit. As we see then, Pete Van Gaal, who we spoke about earlier, currently sat down in 14th. So if you're a fan of Pete, then he's currently sat in 14th place. Got a little bit of clear area in front of him. He's got Mr. Franks there and Mikey Keat as well. But yeah, I think it's been an all in all a pretty good evening for the drivers. Obviously, race 4's been a bit of a muck up with a lot of people going off, but apart from that, I think we've seen some really great racing this evening. And just before we get to the interview phase, guys, I was just going to ask: do we know where we're going to next week?
No, but we can find out.
Just throw you all under the bus there.
I'm sure somebody will know. This man will know, Mr. Adam McNally, who's now on his final lap. I'm sure he'll be able to tell us. My favourite Scotsman, of course. I did think he was Scottish the first time I commentated on him, which was, I must say, a couple of days over a year ago today. So thank you very much to Apex. Thank you to you as well, Alex, for giving me the opportunity to do all this. Been doing it for just over a year now, and I tell you what, that has flown by. It really is good fun to bring all of this fantastic entertainment to you guys, and of course getting to work with Alex and Tom as well is a real joy. So we do hope you are enjoying it. We hope that it seems like we're enjoying it as well. Of course, we know that's the main part of it. If it doesn't sound like we're enjoying it, then of course you might not enjoy it. But Adam McNally, then only a couple of corners to go here, Tom, and he just seems to have it all under control. 7.5 second lead over Carl Jacqueline.
Yeah, he's done everything that he needed to do. The car's been absolutely on point for him for race 4. He tends to come alive a lot. I've noticed watching his driving over the weeks and months that we've been doing this, as Chaz said. I've noticed with his driving at night, he seems to come alive a little bit more, and I think he just favours a lot more of a grippy car as he comes down towards the hill, then down the hill into the chicane for the final time, knocks the car down a few gears, tips it in nicely, back up the hill, push the car out nice and wide. Oh, he gets a little bit, I think that might have been a bit more him showboating there. Rounds the final corner then, tips it in nicely, and then out wide and across the line. A brilliant drive there from McNally.
Sorry, mate, the Jacqueline-Murray battle has swapped over twice on this last lap, and it's going to be Lorne Murray who's going to take the AM win from Jacqueline on the last lap there. Martin Plowman, what a drive, 22 places gained. Jamie Ayres just crossed the line in 6th there. He's gained 33 places. What a drive by Jamie to finish his evening. But yeah, Lorne Murray takes the AM category win away from Carl Jacqueline on the last lap there. Very well deserved win by Lorne Murray, great effort. But Martin Plowman, he's got to be one of the drivers of the night, to be fair, Tom. Not to take anything away from McNally, of course. Fantastic win, but yeah, really, Martin Plowman's made a name for himself in this one, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has indeed, especially watching him. I think it was race 2. God, it seems like a lifetime ago now, when he was following Charlie Summers and Brian Holmes for their race wins. So yeah, I think Martin Plowman's going to be my driver of the evening. It was going to be Charlie Summers, but I think just on this occasion, Martin Plowman might have just tipped it there. I think that was commentator's curse again, to be honest with you, because I said depending on Charlie Summers' result in race number 4, and he's currently in 24th position. So, but yeah, Martin Plowman for me, he's had a really great evening, nice and consistent. Didn't get into any sort of squabbles with anyone too much, and yeah, he's just absolutely nailed it and did exactly what he needed to do.
And we saw some fantastic racing from everybody all night. Really pleased with how this race meeting has gone so far. We've obviously got the interviews to go, so it can all turn around from here. You know what these lot are like. But for the 4th and final time, we're just waiting for a couple of drivers to cross the line. There we go. There is the last driver to cross the line. And for the final time tonight, Tom, we have the results on screen.
So Adam McNally, who didn't get commentators cursed in the end, takes the race win for race 4 for Excite Racing. Behind him, Martin Plowman, another sterling drive for him in 2nd place. Lorne Murray is your AM race winner. Then behind him, Carl Jacqueline, who he managed to pit just for the AM race win in the last few moments of that race in P4, and then Max Wright in P5 to round out your AM race podium. Jamie Ayres comes home in 6th overall and rounds out the pro podium there for SimLab Racing. And behind him, James McRitchie in 7th, Alex Cherney in 8th, Luke Cooper in ninth. Not had the greatest of evenings, Luke Cooper. We've not really spoken about him too much, but I'm sure next round he'll come back out in the boxing ring fighting hard as he normally does. Craig Jones in 10th, Jack Ashton in 11th, 12th Greg Ranks, another great Sterling drive for him as a newcomer to the series. Dave Hampson 13th, Mikey Key in 14th, Scott Malcolm in 15th, Pete Van Gaal 16th, Stuart Dick in 17th, and then Nick McCarron in 18th for SimLab. And then should get the next page just shortly. Thank you, Alex. David Ayres for his old clothing.
Took over for some reason. I was like, come on! I pressed it 5 times.
Jeroen Ursum in 20th, Andy Maxwell in 21st, Ashley Beard in 22nd, Joe McDonald in 23rd, Charlie Summers all the way down in 24th. He won't be too happy with that one. Nils Carstensen in 25th, Anthony Ainsworth in 26th, and your non-finishers this evening then, Billy Rose and Alex Perkis for Northern Lights Racing. That'll be unfortunate for those guys. Adam Delmont, Cesare Rizzo, Michael Wortman, Benjamin Mears, Carl Hardy, Stephen Cooley, Abdulkir Al Amri, Ralph Cullinan. And then we should get a few more if the button works. I'm sure it will. There we go. Kip Stevens, Rob Graham, Brian Holmes, and then Michael Barry.
Thank you very much, Tom. And as you can see, very well lit track this. It's just a pitch black screen now. The sun has set, and well, very much on this evening. You can just see the word interview in there, which is that's pretty much all we need at the moment, really, to be honest with you. We do have 3 people waiting for an interview, so we have plenty to choose from. Billy Rose is in the interview waiting area. I think he's been in there since Tsukuba, to be fair, Tom. He's every time we look in the interview waiting area, Billy Rose is always there. So we'll bring him in to be the first one of the evening. Here he is, Billy Rose.
Hello,
well, Billy, very good, thank you, mate. That was a bit of a crazy evening, to be fair. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was. I was excluded from qualifying going into the first race, so it was a bit frustrating for me. It was not a bad night. It's a track that I've done well in before, and then I just have to apologise to Mikey Key public here for what happened on the last race there. Just that uphill, I was around the outside of him on that uphill, and I thought it's very difficult at the moment I couldn't see him on the left hand side, and I realised how far on the right I was coming to the apex, so I came at the apex at such a silly angle, and by the time I got on the brakes, I realised what was happening when I see him coming across, and we kind of I tried to get on the brakes to avoid it, but we had literally the lightest tap. I mean, it didn't even come up as contact on iRacing for me. So the tap was that light, and it just ended in. I mean, you guys saw the guys behind were coming through so quickly that there was nothing I could do. It was a rear ending for me. So I suppose it was payback for Mikey and me that I got to take it out of the race. But other than that, it was a good race. It was a little bit different for me. I started at the back. I had to start from pit lane on the second race, and the third race kind of just worked my way through. I think I started 31st, managed to finish 24th, so it wasn't too bad. Could have done better, but I just again, it was one of the nights where it's just not really in my favour. Nothing that apart from the last race, there was nothing that was really of my fault, if you know what I mean. It just kind of things happen, and you get tied into stuff you don't want to be, but that's the way of racing. That's the way it goes. I think this track is one of those ones where it can be a wreck fest, but I think actually tonight wasn't as bad as expecting for the crashes. But not a bad night. I think just got to go on to Donington next week and positive thinking, and got some good points in, and we've got a new teammate as well, Alex. I'm sure you guys have seen him. He's he's looking good. His pace is not bad. He's never done league racing, so it was a bit of a last minute getting him in, but it's quite good to have a teammate. And he was close to getting himself on a podium I think it was in the third race, but he just got unlucky. So, but good night, I think, for points all wise.
Yeah, it seemed quite consistent, but obviously that incident at the end, we did get it on the stream. I won't lie to you.
I did. I went back and had a look.
Well, I did say at the time as well that it seemed like you got on the brakes to avoid it, and obviously try and sort of let Mikey at least keep the place. But obviously Peter Van Gaal had other ideas as he came barreling in and took you both down. But it's what happens in motorsport, as you say. And at the end of the day, it's good to see that you're one of these drivers that does accept that. Some people always want to pin the blame on other drivers, but it's just motorsport. It's what happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
mate? So
exactly. That's like exactly what you're saying. You just sometimes you know that it's you're at fault, and you can try and avoid it, but sometimes, just like in that case, the angle I was coming at, there was no stopping that, and it is what it is. And I apologise to Mikey, and I just hope going on to next week, just thinking positively. But this is racing, like you say. These things happen, and sometimes it's out of your control.
Yeah, well, we head to the very interesting Donington National next week, which is a nice sort of basic track in comparison. How are you feeling about going there?
Not done much at Donington, but with it being national, like a lot of sort of national circuits, like you say, it's a little bit kind of smaller. I think, I don't really know what to expect from the MX5s there. I think the best thing for me is to just go into it open-minded. We've got this. The good thing is we've got this bank holiday Easter weekend, so plenty of time off work to get some practice in. Definitely will be maybe getting some good in on Monday. But yeah, I think like you say, just see what happens into next week. I think open-minded, definitely, and positive thinking, and just hope for a better race next week. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Tonight was fun. I think still I enjoyed it considering the incidences.
Well, it's good to see that obviously you're getting the enjoyment out of it, and that's what the league is around for. So very nice to see, mate. Is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before you go?
I'm actually going to give a shout out to my teammate Alex and just say good on him for coming into the series and really doing well on his first ever. He's done better than me on my first ever league race. So shout out to him and to my team, Northern Lights Racing, for getting it together there, for Alex and for all our sponsors who continue to support us through this. So, just the team and Alex, basically, and you guys, as always, for the behind the scenes of all of it, because you guys always do a brilliant job. Even when I do make a mistake, you guys always catch it on camera. So, you guys do a brilliant job. Thank you.
Smashing. No worries, Billy.
Smashing.
Thank you very much. Great
Thank
to speak
you very
to you
much.
again this time round.
Always. Thank you.
Cheers. Billy Rose there, possibly one of the most enthusiastic people I've ever seen in sim racing, Tom. He absolutely loves it, doesn't he? He's brilliant.
Yeah, he's one of the best people I think we have to interview from a personal point of view. He's like an encyclopedia of sim racing, isn't he? So it's great to chat.
Indeed, and I'm going to chuck you into this one with our interviewee regular, Mr. Adam McNally. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Mr. Jacobs.
Evening.
Adam,
nice to see you back.
Oh yes, well he is back. We said this at the start of the thing. He's been swanning off doing all his special stuff and leaving us in the dust, but he's back now. So just onto your race this evening though. We saw you had a few incidents. I think in the comms booth you're known as the Vettel of the BSR MX5 series from this evening with your spins, but how was it for you overall?
I mean, the pace was there. I just kept getting unlucky, involved in some incidents. Race 1, I had no one to blame but myself, ran onto the curb, chucked it away. Race 2, I think 3 times I ended up getting spun round from inside the top 20. But finished. Race 3 again. I thought I'd got it 23rd the first. And then just out of nowhere, bang, race over pretty much. So after race 4, I was happy to get the win. It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. So, and just with race 4, we've noticed, I was saying throughout the season, I don't know if you've noticed it yourself, but you tend to do a lot better when it comes to night races. They seem to bring you alive a lot more. I mean, that drive that you had in race 4 was absolutely perfect. So just from your standpoint, was it just a case of then just getting in the lead and trying to build as much of a gap you could and trying to get a gap away from the other pro drivers coming through?
Yeah, well, I knew it was going to get dark, so I thought I had to get away at the early stages while it was still a bit light. Because there's no lighting around this track, so it's pretty much just memory, trying to chuck it in where you usually would and just pray and hope for the best that you actually hit your mark and that you're not running too wide. But I seem to have a good run. And like once I said, got about 4 seconds on you, I could just chill out a bit, not push too hard, and just bring the car home.
Brilliant stuff, mate. Well, we've found out actually before we have to actually search for it. We're at Donington Park next week. So is that a track that you favour or?
Yeah, it's a great track. I love the track. I'm just not fast there. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm just never fast at Donington. But I do love it. It makes for some great racing.
Well, absolutely sterling stuff, mate.
Outside sometimes, so just to make the positions up. So it should be a good track to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be, and we look forward to seeing you there next week. But just before we let you go, mate, is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, give a shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Everyone who does all the work behind the scenes. To Excite Energy for back in the car. We've got the Racing Mentor, Motorsport Days Live, Prio Premature Baby Foundation, Lux Sim 24, and we've just got ER 12 Gaming joining us as well. So, I'd like to welcome them aboard. And
Brilliant stuff,
obviously
mate.
all of our drivers as well for taking part.
Of course. Well, it's been great watching you tonight, mate. Good results from all the team. I know you've had a bit of not the best of luck out there recently, but it's coming back to you, and I'm sure you can take the fight back to SimLab and Swift Cooper Esports. So we look forward to seeing you next week, and it's been great chatting to you.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you. And just a quick shout out to Ash for the race 1 win as well. Well done on that. And like
Brilliant
I said, that's
stuff, mate. Well, thank you very much. Adam McNally there, your race 4 winner this evening.
Brilliant stuff. Good to speak to you, Adam, as always. Maybe time for one more, do you reckon, Alex? We're a bit close on time, aren't we, at the moment, actually? By the look of it.
I think one more.
Yeah, we'll. Well, what we'll do is we've not actually had a word with him before. We drag him in partway through speaking as well, which is what I always love doing to these guys. We're joined by Carl, and I hope it's Carl Jacquelet, because that's who I'm going to say you are.
It is. Hi, guys.
It
Hi.
is Carl Jacquelet. Well, we've been speaking about you tonight and your consistency. Just saying that you just get unlucky with incidents sometimes. Did you feel that was the case tonight?
Yeah. I have the most dreadful luck at times. I really do. But they say you make your own luck, so I've got to work on that.
Well, hopefully we can going into the next one. It was certainly an interesting evening to watch, though. It's quite an exciting track to drive around in the MX5, isn't it?
It's awesome. I had a blinding night last night. I got in the AMS. I got 2 wins and a 5th, but just couldn't quite get it together tonight. And in the last race, I forgot to switch my room lights off, and I was struggling to see where I was going at the end. That's why I lost so much time.
I imagine that wasn't the most pleasant of races for you then. I know what it's like, to be fair. I mean, I'm sure Tom and Alex will agree as well that when you're doing night races and iRacing, you really do need everything off. You don't want any glare on your screen whatsoever, because it does get really flipping dark. It is literally pitch black.
Well, I've got an Amazon Dot running my cooling fan, so I think it's time to get a controlled light bulb as well, so I can turn the lights off.
Yeah, definitely. Just shout halfway through. Just get them turned off, son. You can have sort of live lighting changes depending on what the weather's doing as well in iRacing, so that'd be pretty decent.
There's lots you can do. But no, I really enjoyed tonight. I've had some tremendous battles through the field. It's been great, absolutely great.
Well, we're glad you've enjoyed it, buddy. It's always exciting to watch everyone out on track. Of course, the livery of Year One Racing is very bright. How do you guys feel like your season is going so far on the whole?
Well, we're an absolutely brand new team. I think we're gelling together quite well. We're starting to communicate more during the races and make things work. It is teamwork. It's good. The practice sessions have been very good with us. We got one guy who's analysing all the data, and it's helping.
Good stuff. And of course, teamwork is such an important part of this series. We've been saying over the course of the evening how even when it comes down to slipstreaming, if there's a track with big straights, you have to play the team game and make sure that you don't lose out any momentum if a couple of you are together on track. I mean, do you find that a lot of the time there is an advantage to having a couple of your guys together on track, or do you reckon just as a sort of observational way, it's better to have people spread out through the pack?
It can go together. Last night there was an instance where I was making a pass, and I had one of my team guys in front of the person I was trying to pass, so down the straight. It was, go on, move right, give me the slipstream, take it away from the other guy. Yeah, it's the little details like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got to work together.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's fun to watch it happen as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was the start of that last race. One of our guys was in front of me, and I managed to get a nice run and into the first chicane, yelling on the mic to give me the line. Well, it worked.
Just scare them out of the way. Just shout at them until they jump out of the way.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Take possession.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, assertiveness, assertive commands to your teammates. That's what everybody needs. Well,
yeah. Well, I'm the oldest team driver. I'm 57, and it's experience in that.
yeah, well, exactly. You can use that against them and be like, look, I'm the experienced one here. Deal with it. just tell them how it is. Tell them how it is.
Yeah, they get used to it. You take command, and people will follow.
Love it. Well, it's a pleasure to speak to you tonight, Carl. Well done on the results. I know sometimes it doesn't go your way, but as we've been saying, it's down to luck sometimes in motorsport.
It is down to luck.
Definitely.
And I've had some tremendous saves tonight as well. I mean, on that last lap, coming out of the final chicane, I was completely sideways. I was heading towards the bridge, but no, I collected back together again. I thought I was going in, but no. More time in this car, I'm actually beginning to save it now. Previously, it was just driving around at the back of the pack, trying to hang on, but now I feel I'm actually racing it.
Well, it's good to see that it's getting lively, and at the end of the day, it keeps it exciting, even when you're sort of not directly racing against anybody. But we are running out of time, unfortunately, buddy. So I'm going to have to ask: is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Just the guys at Year One and the fabulous custom flip flops they make. They're absolutely brilliant. Great for your holidays. Just get that plug in.
Love it. Well, I'll be expecting a pair in the post then if I start sharing Facebook posts. I spoke to one of the guys a while ago. I can never remember his name. This is really bad of me, but I spoke to him a while ago and he said he was going to send me a pair if I started promoting. So I'll have to see what I can do about that. But it's not quite summer enough yet, I don't think.
Well, I won a pair the other day by having some wins. So I've got a pair sat here. And
you should wear them while you're racing.
They'll be great on the Algarve in a couple of weeks.
Well, smashing stuff. Well, I hope you enjoy that as well, then, Carl. It was great to speak to you tonight, and all the best for Donington next time round.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I like Donington.
Good stuff. Well, we'll speak to you then.
Cheers, guys. Good night.
Cheers. Carl Jackalette there, first interview we've done with him, and like he says, age is but a number. It's he can use it as his assertiveness, though, Tom, in amongst his teammates. But again, we say this every week, really. I mean, people are probably getting bored of me saying it, but what a great series this is. Every single week, it's just entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant. It definitely is one of my favourite series on iRacing and within sim racing itself. I've got to say, I've commentated on quite a bit of stuff, but nothing really excites me more than a little piddly MX5 with circa about 200 horsepower, tanking it around the track with 40 others. So, yeah, it's an absolutely perfect series. I wouldn't want to drive in it myself. It's not really my sort of thing, and I think there's too much argy-bargy for my liking. But yeah, these guys definitely bring their A game every week, and it's going to be great to see what they can do at Donington.
And it's obviously going to be a bit more of a basic track there, Alex, but that'll mean that we get more laps out of it and more opportunities for manoeuvres, don't you think?
Yeah, I think driver's circuit, of course, not so much slipstream is going to be on the offer in there, so overtaking's not going to be so easy, so drivers are going to have to really work for it, I think. Yeah, it should be a very, very different meeting to what we've seen tonight.
And of course, we hope to see you all there on the iRacing Esports Network, same time next week. That'll be from 8:15 UK time and until about, well, now, 10:45 at night here. 4 races once again. Tom, Alex, thank you very much for this evening. Great to be back doing this with you guys. And of course, thank you for everyone for tuning in. Of course, do make sure that you subscribe to the iRacing Esports Network. Click the little bell icon that you can get on YouTube as well to be notified of future videos. And of course, check out our Apex Racing TV Facebook page, check us out on Twitch, and we also have our own YouTube channel as well if you want to keep up with any of the other series that we cover. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we hope you all have a fantastic evening. See you next time.